judge, Stephen Miller's bond is currently set at $1.5 million. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
That's awful, hon.
My brother got life insurance from Ethos and it only took 10 minutes. And he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online, no medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit ethos.com/score. Ethos.com/score.
Sample Rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep. My body stopped for the day, but my mind is still running. So I take ZQuil.
ZQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, has a range of non-habit-forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in a great night's sleep for the best you tomorrow.
I'm awake and ready to take on anything.
Better days start with ZQuil nights. Explore our products at ZQuil.com. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Hi there, I'm Kim Williams with Alabama Home Mortgage. For many years, my team and I have worked diligently to provide our veterans with top-notch service, as it is our honor to serve those who have served us in the armed forces. Madeline and I are certified veteran lending specialists. Nationwide, there are over 22 million veterans that qualify to purchase a home through the VA loan program, yet less than 2 million of them currently have a VA home loan. Many lenders do not keep up with the ever-changing guidelines and benefits of the VA loan program. They are intimidated by the program, resulting in many veterans not obtaining VA loans. This is unacceptable. The VA home loan program offers service members and veterans with 100% financing. You've already paid your down payment. If you are currently serving or have honorably discharged, we would love an opportunity to discuss how the VA program can serve you. Give Alabama Home Mortgage a call at 567-4223 or visit us online at myalabamahomemortgage.com to complete an application on your time. Thank you for your service. NMLS 1586-368, Equal Housing Lender.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Known Dale for many years as rogues, vagabonds, frauds, and scoundrels. I sometimes suspected, like everyone else, I often expect too much of them.
That's how you conduct yourself in a democracy?
This is the Trump country. We live in the Southeast. We drink sweet tea. We don't drink socialist Kool-Aid.
Joey Clark.
Welcome into the program here on a rainy Monday here in Montgomery, Alabama. I'm your host, Joey Clark. My trusty co-host, Eddie Vader, is here. How you doing today?
Pretty good. How you doing, bro?
I'm all right. I'm doing all right. I think I'm doing all right. I'm wondering, turn your camera a little more there. I'm wondering, did I ever send in my spit? Oh, my saliva?
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever send in your spit to anybody?
No.
Not even as a prank? You never, like, swabbed your mouth and sent it off in the mail to be tested?
Nope.
I don't think I did. I wonder if I did. Maybe it was just a crazy drunken weekend where I'm like, yeah, I'll send it to the scientist to go see my part Neanderthal or something.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think I did. I don't think I've ever sent in my spit to be tested. And I'm thinking about this, like double checking. As I know, Ancestry.com did that for a while.
Oh, I've got a kit. Somebody gave me a kit for Christmas. It's just still.
Oh, gave you a kit?
Yeah, I just.
Now, was it Ancestry?
I don't remember which one it is. Probably something like that.
Well, the story that just came out is 23andMe,
mm-hmm.
which is one of these places you can send your spit to, and they're like, you're
this much.
You're Native American,
yeah,
or you're Polish, or you're German, Irish, Scotch Irish, yeah, like all these. So I don't think I needed that to know all the details, honestly. But I didn't send this off. But apparently 23andMe is going a bankrupt.
Oh.
They have filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy.
Okay, hold on. Ever since USAID got their funding cut off, another CIA agency is going bankrupt. Joey,
so you're tying these all together that without all that USAID
did we not
money,
know that
23andMe
and all that was just a CIA? Hey, let's see who everybody is. We got a DNA sample of everybody now. Come on.
Yeah, but it just came out. We got a local news story here, though, and the California Attorney General is now weighing in, saying, "Hey, if you sent your spit in, you might want to take some extra steps."
Yeah, come on, you didn't see this coming.
I mean,
it's right up there with Amazon storing your photos.
I kind of saw it coming. This is why I didn't send them my spit. But here's that local news report.
All right.
Sophie, thank you. We've got some breaking news to get to. Genetic testing company 23andMe has now filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. The firm, valued at $50 million, is pushing for a buyout. So far, the board has rejected all offers, now saying a court-supervised sale is the best path forward. 23andMe will continue operations during this process. This, of course, comes just one day after California Attorney General Rob Bonta issued a consumer alert about the potential of this very thing happening, reminding customers to consider invoking their rights to have 23andMe delete their data and destroy genetic samples.
I just thought of something. I've never sent spit in the mail, but I sent something else one time.
Wait, what did you send?
You know, it's a less invasive way, Joey, to get your colon checked.
Oh, wait, you sent some poop in a box?
I sure did.
Oh, wow.
I sure did.
So they have your DNA. If
Ooh,
they were really checking.
Really want to get out of there.
I mean,
knock yourselves out, fellas.
I mean, spit'll do, but if you want to send us more.
If you want to go that route, knock yourself out.
We know every little nook and cranny of what's going on with you.
I just thought about that.
Oh, wow. No, I never did I know what you're talking about, where you could give a little.
It's incredibly convenient.
Fecal sample.
Yeah.
And,
I mean, it's strange, no doubt, but I kind of giggled all the way to the post office.
Right. Wasn't a lot, right?
No. I mean, full, but
like a schmear.
I don't
like on
remember.
a microscope plate, piece of glass. That's what you did. A little
I
schmear.
think it was more than that.
It was more than that.
I think it had a container.
It was at least double bagged.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh God.
But that's
worse.
Giggled as I'm going to the post office.
That's worse than spit, where you swab a little bit and you just put it in there. Oh.
They sent you a whole kit.
And by the way, Nathaniel Johnson, policy advisor for the U.S. Department of Treasury, told the O'Keefe Media Group, that's the outlet James O'Keefe runs.
Okay.
It was one of these undercover videos. Why is it always gay fellas on dates that spill all the beans?
Yeah.
I mean,
Men
I know
are typically more braggadocious.
sometimes,
perhaps?
right? Sometimes it's other people, but it's usually like somebody on a date with a dude, and he's like, "Now let me tell you the real
Power
stuff
I
I
got.
work on."
Yeah.
I don't know why that is, you chatty Cathys. But he told a journalist undercover that 23andMe had been sharing data with pharmaceutical companies, including the Ministry of Defense of Russia.
Not surprised.
He went on to say there's a clause in their contract that basically says we can give your information to our shareholders. All of their shareholders are like pharmaceutical companies. Oh. So the AG of California is like, tell them to delete it. Well, okay, we'll delete the ones we have.
Right.
But you've already sent the data off everywhere.
Stuff's been sold a long time ago. That's what I don't understand is how a company like that goes out of business. I mean, you're selling a box, right? 25-cent box. Enough people bought that for I don't know how much money. You get it analyzed, and then you sell their data. How do you not just make money on top of money on top of money?
Make a lot of money, yeah.
How do you go bankrupt? Cocaine or something?
I do wonder how they went bankrupt.
That's just money on both sides.
And they're worth $50 million, it said in that news report.
I'll give them $250 right now.
Maybe enough, like there was a diminishing return on spit.
I don't know.
Like 15 million is like kind of they hit a ceiling.
Plateaued there.
Yeah, where the other 300+ million people are like, I'm not spitting in a jar for you.
Well, maybe they should have gone the other route. That business is doing pretty well.
Man. So that's going on in the world.
Wow. Okay.
Also, the golden age of America, well, at least the private investment, is truly upon us. The UAE announces a $1.4 trillion plan to invest in the United States.
Wait a minute. These are the same ones that have been complaining for the last, 90 days?
UAE?
Just Europe in general.
No. UAE, the United Arab Emirates.
Okay. I'm sorry. I was
thinking, not the Europeans.
I was thinking that. I've been watching videos on them all weekend. I'm about to go nuts.
No, but the United Arab Emirates is pledging $1.4 trillion
with a T
Saudi Arabia says $600 billion. Trump's like, they'll get up to over $1 trillion. Watch, they're very generous.
I wonder if any citizenship could be bought with that.
It's going to be announced officially later today with Trump at the White House. Hyundai investing an extra $20 billion, including a $5 billion advanced steel manufacturing plant in Louisiana. All right. And it'll be all the steel provided for the next generation of their vehicles for Kia and Hyundai.
80% of the ships on the water today are made by Hyundai. I mean, they're into everything, man.
Apple has pledged over $500 billion in investment, including manufacturing in the United States. NVIDIA over $100 billion. SoftBank, OpenAI, and Oracle over $100 billion. Taiwan semiconductor manufacturing company. They're just a semi-manufacturing company. No, they're pledging over $100 billion. Johnson & Johnson last week pledged $55 billion. CMA CGM Group, I don't know what they do, but they're pledging $20 billion.
Wow.
Eli Lilly, $27 billion. Merck, $1 billion. And GE Aerospace, $1 billion. You know, it's got to be kind of like, we're spending $1 billion and we're at the bottom of the list. We're the losers here.
Well, I wonder, when anything like this happens, they all contribute or say they're going to contribute. I want to follow the money. I want to see does it really happen? But I'm excited about that. And I'm wondering if the Biden administration was so great, how come companies didn't line up? And if the Trump administration is so bad for the economy, why are companies lining up to do business with us?
Well, and if all these companies are willing to invest, how does a company based off selling people's DNA data because you sent in your spit, how do they go belly up?
Something's up with that, Joey.
Something is up with that.
Yep.
Let's go to line one. You're on there. Who's this?
This is Mr. Spit in the Bucket.
Did you ever spit and send your spit?
Yes, I did. And I saw
no.
my results, and I'm 1.2% Jamaican man.
It was very expensive.
Well, I got it on sale on Christmas for $99. But let me tell you something about that.
$100,
y'all, Joey, you making a big deal about it because if you watch any of these spy movies or police movies, all you got to do is touch a glass at a bar at a happy hour, and they pick up that glass, and they got your DNA on you. They got everything on you.
I know.
But I'm not paying them to take it.
I wear a Whoop fitness tracker. They know plenty about me.
They still got it.
Yeah, but at least in the scenario you laid out, it's some espionage that like, oh, we got Soldier Boy's DNA. You just volunteered it and you paid for it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, I paid for it and I'm proud of it. But the good thing about it is let me tell you why. Okay.
Okay.
They asked, there's a small clause in there asking, if you have any that of our members that match closely to your DNA that could possibly be relatives.
Right.
Well, guess what? I'm adopted. That was great. And I got two relatives I didn't even know about.
There you go. So now there's a positive thing that comes out of that.
There's
that's
a positive thing. That was the best $99 I've ever spent. I didn't think. I said, no brothers, no sisters, no cousins, no nieces. Boom, 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 So it was kind of, I guess, some of our uncles in the past had a wild action at the old happy hour, and something happened there,
Yeah, somebody had a van.
Yeah. So, but here's the thing about it is, y'all make it sound like Mark Furman. Mark Furman was driving around with test tubes at the right temperature of O.J. Simpson. Do you remember that? Man, I
forgot about
figure that out. Remember that one? Yeah, I'm watching the trial, and I was like, Mark Furman, out of all the millions of people in L.A. County, the L.A. County police officer, and he has to have that blood at the right temperature.
Oh, no. I'm sure he kept it.
And how did he get? Wait a minute. How did he get the blood from OJ? A test tube full in it.
I just find it hilarious, Soldier Boy, that an attorney general of California is like, y'all go request they destroy your spit.
Yeah. Is their phone still working? Because they're filing for bankruptcy.
And did you find out anything else about yourself that was beyond just being one?
Well, in 24 years in the military, you don't think they know my DNA?
No, that's very true.
I'm not saying they're going to do anything nefarious or clone you.
Yeah, they will.
Oh my! Well, go ahead and clone me. That's okay. That's fine. Do I get some side cash off of it? Hey, as long as I get some side cash off of it, I'll get a Christmas card at the end of the year.
Sim will find it was actually Soldier Boy driving that Cybertruck into Trump Tower.
Yeah.
No, I was driving a white Bronco with OJ. I don't know what you're talking about.
Don't do it, Juice.
I was driving slow, man. I was driving slow with OJ, man. I was doing the old Bronco style thing. But it's not a big, like you said, you sent the old, you talk about the dump in the box thing, okay?
Yeah.
Eddie, let me tell you something. My dog had to, they check for. Do you have a dog?
Oh yeah.
And every year they got to have to check for heartworms.
Okay?
Yeah. So I went to Dr. Kavanaugh. Dr. Kavanaugh, he said, I need you to bring a sample in so we can test it, make sure he ain't got heartworms.
Right.
He don't have heartworms. So I bring it in, and it's like a 2-week-old one, and he looks at me, he goes, I need a fresh one.
Oh, God. Oh, my God. How did this go off the rails so quickly?
That's how it went. Well, hey, that's how that conversation went with Dr. Kavanaugh. I'm the man. So he said, I need a fresh one. He says, I was like, oh, how fresh? And then, I have to ask the next question, how fresh do you want it? Give me a time limit here, Do I need, as soon as she poops, have a bag underneath it ready to catch it, I don't know. How fresh do you want it? He said, let's put it this way. When you let her out in the morning, okay, as soon as she does her biz, I was like, yeah. And he says, take that and put it in a plastic bag. Man, I didn't realize. I put that bag, I took a little tweezers and I got that bad boy, that Ziploc bag. Not the cheap one where the storage I got the Ziploc one, from Walmart. Right. Not the squeeze ones. I'm making sure we ain't have no problems here, So the next thing I put it in, and it was a cold. I didn't know how warm poop is. Okay, because when I brought it to him, he just looked at the bag. He says, "Where's it at?" I said, "It's in the bag."
Hold on, Soldier Boy. For those just tuning in, we are talking about spit and 23andMe going belly up. Eddie brought up the fact that he sent his poop in once to a company, and now Soldier Boy is describing the warmness of dog turds. Welcome into News and Views in the afternoon.
On a Monday.
Well, everybody knows about it. Everybody has dogs that has to get heartworms. Okay, so it's not like it's out of the normal. So the next thing I know, I brought it in, and he goes, "Where's it at?" I said, "It's in the bag." He goes, "It's in the bag." He said, "I don't see it." And what it was so damn cold outside. I didn't know poop was that damn warm. That bag had steamed up, man. I was like, I swear, Doc, it's in there. I mean, I didn't know. I never got that damn close to poop to know it's warm.
Is it kind of like when you get French fries and you drive them home and they've been in that box and they get all soggy?
Well, you're on the ceramic goddess, your crown little throne in your bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get that close to find out if it's warm enough because by the time it's left the bus station, it's already gone traveling, down to its nearest location, which is probably Canada anyway.
My guess is something like 98 degrees.
Doctor, that's fine with me. You would have been cheaper than what I had to pay for that test. Come back, she's negative. I'm like, but you should have seen me on the face, man. He about died. And Dr. Bradley looked at me. He says, "Rodney, you okay?" I go, "What do you mean?" He says, "I like Dr. Kavanaugh. How warm do you want it to be? I mean, do you have to put a thermostat? I mean, what the heck? I didn't know." Eddie, let me ask you a question, Eddie.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, how'd you get it in the box? How'd you aim so well?
They give you a little target kit.
Yeah, right. Something you set up like a little canopy that catches it or something.
I don't know. I don't remember. It was a little.
You don't remember?
Right.
How do he remembers every detail of picking up that dog turd? You don't remember anything about collecting your own?
Way, no, I mean,
anyway, Soldier Boy,
experience,
I appreciate the call. I appreciate you sharing.
Hey, I got 2 words for Eddie: bombs away.
Exactly.
Thank you, sir.
Whew, my bad.
But yeah, if you've ever sent in your spit or any other bodily fluids to go get tested by big, massive corporations, and now you're worried about your data, give us a call.
Okay, what about when they do drug tests at places of employment?
Oh, true.
I mean, where's that? At the end of the day, your name is tied to that sample. Where does that really go? You just assume they destroy it, but do they? Do they, Joe?
I don't know.
Or are they selling that out the back door?
Last time I was drug tested, it was a hair test when I worked for the city. The first year and test me the next year.
They did it hunting
Thank
for a
God.
while. I think it got expensive. And
first year of college was fun.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Well, it's not like I was showing up on the job like drunk or anything. Just,
No, you're just a college kid.
Right. But
don't fit the mold.
You have to wonder, how much do they have on you?
Yeah, like Soldier Boy said, I'm pretty sure they got everything.
Everything.
Especially, I was a military brat, so they've got my whole lifetime of everything.
Now let's go to line 3. You're on there. Who's this?
Hey, it's Chad. How you guys doing?
Hey, good, Chad. How you doing, buddy?
I think I need to up the elevation of the discussion.
Please, Chad.
If you ask how 23andMe could go out of business,
Yes.
Same way they all go out of business. They mismanagement and taking all the money out of the daggum operating account. Just good old-fashioned corporate greed, bro.
Yeah. I mean, I get it, but I would think just like cocaine dealers, you've got so much money coming in that obviously you can spend it all, I guess. They are literally getting it on both ends.
Well, yeah, you've been talking about both ends for the last 20 minutes. I tell you what, my first thing I would say to anybody is if you gave up a DNA sample, then that's on you, because I would never have trusted any private corporation. And it's kind of like when you read the terms and conditions. Everybody just checks the box. They don't read the terms and conditions.
Yeah, if you read the terms and conditions, you won't do it.
Oh, I remember when my son, a talent scout, found him and wanted to put him in the show out in California, and they sent me a copy of the 60-page contract. Me being Legal Eagle and Local Heartthrob.
Yes, sir.
I looked at that contract. You literally were giving up in perpetuity the rights to your likeness and image.
Oh, wow.
And I am like, what kind of parents would sign this? And I'm like, I'll tell you what kind of parents would sign this. Parents who are living their lives through their kids.
Yep.
Hoping to get some money.
That's exactly right.
But I mean, you really got to read this stuff. You got to read it. And, so it's on you if you don't. I guess some people are willing to take that chance. And it actually is a good program if you are trying to find out whether you're related to somebody, if you have adoption.
Right. I think that's great.
On the other hand, you might find out you have 4 or 5 kids you didn't know about.
With some back child support due.
Right. Or wait, I think my uncle Bob is the Zodiac killer.
Right. That could happen too.
Yeah, it's like, that's funny. I was only at Fort Benning for a summer.
Well, by the way, I'm looking at this. CNBC says 23andMe was once valued at $6 billion.
Holy cow.
As of Monday morning, the market capitalization is around $25 million.
Wow.
Man, sounds like mismanagement to me.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, it does sound like not enough people kept sending in their spit, and then all the promise of we'll create new therapies and drugs out of this just never came to be.
Man.
Well, that's because that requires a lot of money. I mean, DNA is, everybody thinks it's a simple thing, that research is simple and all. I mean, it takes millions of samples to come up with drugs and stuff. It's incredible. I mean, anyway, as usual, over promised and under delivered. Wins every time.
That's right.
So
every time.
You guys have a great week.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Chad. See you, buddy.
Great hearing from you, man. Also, another crazy story. The execrable Jeffrey Goldberg.
Mm-hmm.
He's a big old regime media hack. He's very skilled at what he does. I'll give him that. He's quite a good writer and knows how to get a message across. But he is he's the guy you call up. It's like, hey, Jeffrey, you want to push something absurd? He's the one who said Trump called all the soldiers, all the fallen at Normandy, losers and suckers.
Okay.
They go to Goldberg for those sort of hit pieces. We saw one, I think, in the last election cycle. But Jeffrey Goldberg, who is right now the editor-in-chief of The Atlantic, was accidentally included in a Signal group chat with top Trump administration officials, where top secret war plans related to Yemen and the Houthis were shared. Yeah, how did you screw this up?
Yeah.
Because I'm looking at a screenshot here. It's J.D. Vance saying to Pete Hegseth, if you think we should do it, let's go. I just hate bailing Europe out. Let's make sure our messaging is tight here. And if there are things we can do up front to minimize risk to Saudi oil facilities, we should do it. Hegseth responded, VP, I fully share your loathing of the European freeloading. It's pathetic, in all caps. But Mike is correct, thinking Mike Waltz, the National Security Advisor. We are the only ones on the planet on our side of the ledger who can do this. Nobody else even close. Question is timing. I feel like now is a good time as any, given POTUS' directive to reopen shipping lanes. I think we should go, but POTUS still retains 24 hours of decision space. As I heard it, the president was clear, green light, but we should make clear to Egypt and Europe what we expect in return. So this was like before they actually started striking the Houthis. But how did this guy end up?
How did he get that?
How did he end up invited into a Signal group chat? Somebody fat fingered something. And why are we using Signal for these sorts of messages? Is it really all
Something
that
better?
secure?
Yeah, something better out there. I'm sure there is.
It's kind of nuts. But yeah, you see John Ratcliffe, Mike Waltz. Now, I almost don't know if I believe this.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's so easy to fabricate, but it's also so strange. Maybe it is, in fact, true. Coming up, we got to hit a break here, but coming up, we got plenty more to cover, including Tiger Woods confirms he's in a relationship with a Trump. With Vanessa Trump.
Saw that.
All right. And again, a lot of investment coming into the United States. But as we then focus on the border, the fight over sending the Venezuelans as foreign terrorists to El Salvador continues in the courts, and more arguments on the Sunday talk shows. But when you look at immigration, for instance, CBS looked into ICE Boston's claims that illegal aliens charged with child rape in Massachusetts are repeatedly being released from jail with ridiculously low bail. After looking into it, these claims by Boston ICE and the Trump administration, CBS found that, that's in fact happening. We can get into the details. But of course, the Trump administration is raising the stakes after the Obama judge immediately ends all deportation flights. They're taking it to the Court of Appeals, saying that the judge is usurping fundamental, just central powers of the president as laid out in the Constitution. Also, an FBI flagship field office is reportedly focused on review, redaction of Epstein files over everything else, they say. We're really looking into this Epstein thing. Okay. 48% of California voters say they're considering voting Republican for governor.
Wow.
Also, a great story. The headline is Tension as Doge Cuts Jobs in Trump Country. And really just turns into a whole story where a Republican congressman did a virtual town hall.
Yeah.
And a bunch of probationary IRS employees were really upset.
Yep. Saw that.
I love how the press just gives all this fanfare to folks who have been fired. But at the same time, it looks like Democrats are rapidly losing not just a lot of their base because they're not fighting hard enough. They're also losing the future. They're losing the youth vote.
Big time.
Which is, again, quite something to behold. Also, we'll get to Bruce Pearl. Not only is his team doing well in the tournament.
That's right, Joey.
Bruce Pearl was on Fox News crediting Trump for leading the way with the release of hostages in Gaza. Quote, he's making this a very clear decision for Hamas and some daylight. I don't know if y'all saw the sit-down interview with Steve Witkoff and Tucker Carlson that came out Friday evening.
Saw clips of that.
Very good discussion. You can tell that, by the way, Witkoff in the conversation admits, like, I wanted to be Trump. So he's known Trump for 30 years, and he's like good friends with him to the point of I wanted to be that guy. He kind of admired him, and I wanted to follow in his footsteps. And now he's special envoy, engaging in negotiations with Hamas and the Russians and anybody else, where you need, if the president can't be there, well, this is essentially the president's guy and the president's voice in the room. And even Witkoff is holding out, saying that after Israeli strikes, we still could get some deal done pretty quickly. Though he is not surprised by the way Hamas responded to offers of an actual ceasefire, a long-term ceasefire. The way Hamas responded, he said, putting it mildly, was offensive. He's not shocked. He didn't know, he wasn't in the room knowing the war plans of the Israelis, but he was sort of putting two to two together and saying, oh, yeah. Also, some interesting details on the negotiations with the Russians. So there's much to get to, not including like the Department of Education being dismantled. Yeah. That a lot of folks are apoplectic over. But Rand Paul puts Margaret Brennan, that lying witch, in her place. So we got a lot to get to, a lot to cover. But if y'all spit and send it in the mail to 23andMe, you better be looking into what rights you might have.
Yeah, I don't even know what rights I gave up by sending my poop.
You should probably look into that. It's going to be a new Netflix show starring Joey and Eddie. I'm like, wait, did you steal mine? It's one thing to send yours. Don't be rummaging through my. This is part of the program brought to you by Dr. Pershing, great chiropractor here in Montgomery, and they're at Dr. Pershing's office. They're ready to help you with any and all of your musculoskeletal pains. Of course, they can do spinal adjustments. What is it? Gunstead adjustment. It's restores spinal alignment and mobility using precise hand contact points. They also have things like acoustic wave therapy if there's a particular trigger point that is really giving you a lot of trouble. But it all depends on what you're going through personally. So why not request an appointment, sit down with Dr. Pershing here in Montgomery, and he can help you out, understanding exactly what you're going through. The man's seen it all. He's been a chiropractor for like 30 years, and he's also taught the art. So it's like learning it all over again. And your wife swears by him.
After a car accident. Yep. She had shoulder pain for, 2 or 3 years. And she ended up going to Dr. Pershing, and I think 3 or 4 treatments later, she's good to go.
So you can always go to drpershing.net. That's drpershing.net, or call them up at 676-1490. That's 676-1490. And be sure to tell them that Joey and Eddie, those fellas on the radio, sent you.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
Since 1966, Alabama Sheriff's Youth Ranches has been more than just a place to stay. It's been a place to belong. For children facing hardships through no fault of their own, our ranches provide more than shelter. We offer a warm home, a loving family, and a future filled with hope. With open arms, we welcome these young hearts, giving them the love, structure, and guidance they need to heal, grow, and thrive in a warm Christian environment. Together, we can give Alabama's children the chance they deserve, a chance to dream, to succeed, and to feel truly cherished. Every donation stays within Alabama, directly impacting the lives of the children who need it most. Join us in making a difference. Visit AlabamaSheriffsYouthRanches.org. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram, and download our app from your app store. We'd be honored to have you as a part of our mission to lift up Alabama's youth. And remember this, it's easier to build boys and girls than to repair men and women.
This is your roving reporter, and today I am talking with an elk. Hey man. Mr. Elk, I was just wondering, what do elk do to take care of their money? Well, like most smart folks, we call David Erdis. You mean Alabama's most favorite asset preservationist? That's him, man. We call him up at 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. I see. Yes, he is our preferred money man. The money man with the money plan. You've been paying attention. Well, could you give us those numbers one more time? 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. And I just want to try to give you a heads up, man. Oh, what's that? I'm not an elk. Not an elk, huh? Well, then, pray tell, what are you? Knights of Columbus. I am not even going to make a comment. Well, the baby liked it.
Hello there. This is Dr. Sam, account executive with Blue Water Broadcasting. Why should you advertise with us? Well, radio is the #1 reach medium, and it's everywhere, in cars, offices, homes, gyms, and even in stores. Radio advertising can efficiently get your message across to a large number of people. Contact me, Dr. Sam, by going to BlueWaterBroadcasting.com to find out more. Blue Water Broadcasting, local folks helping local business.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of Riverside Chevrolet Wetumpka. If it's Chevy, it's Riverside. Best price, best selection. Check them out on the web at riversideusa.net.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. The better rain chances are mainly early in the day today, but I think even this afternoon, I can't rule out a leftover shower or two. Today's high around 75, partly cloudy, 48 the low tonight, and the rest of the week looks beautiful. Sunshine will dominate Tuesday and Wednesday with a high in the low 80s tomorrow and near 80 on Wednesday. And even Thursday and Friday are looking great with abundant sunshine. Upper 70s to low 80s. The next chance of rain arriving late Saturday night into Sunday, it looks like right now. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Budget Floors & More is your low price leader for everything you need for flooring and DIY flooring installation supplies. For the best prices on luxury vinyl plank, carpet, ceramic tile, flooring installation supplies, and more, shop Budget Floors & More, Hunter Lane across from Del Rey to Publix.
News and talk without the static. The River Region's most trusted voice. 1 FM UACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. I'm your host, Joey Clark. Eddie Vader here in the studio. Playing one of his favorites that I put together.
I keep waiting for Celine Dion and her choirful voice, if that's a word, just join right in.
Now, what if I just start singing with
That'd
the
be
voice of
beautiful.
a generation?
What? Like a Coca-Cola song or something?
Yeah, like
What was wasn't the Nuns? Remember back like in the late 80s, early 90s, you had those chants, those I cannot think of what it was called.
You had chants in the 80s and 90s.
The chants, it was a Gregorian chant or chants. It was some type of song that they ended up making. And it
Gregorian chants
Yeah,
got pot. What are you talking about? Like Enya?
No, it's something like India. Yeah, that kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got it. You certainly remember that.
I always just, when I think of Gregorian chants, think of Monty Python and the Holy Grail with the monks walking through the town and hitting themselves in the head.
Shame.
Breaking. Multiple bombs found inside Tesla showroom in Texas.
Kidding me, man.
Multiple incendiary devices were found inside a Tesla showroom in Austin, Texas, Monday morning, as nationwide threats against CEO Elon Musk continue. Austin Police Department officers were called to the electric vehicle showroom just after 8 a.m. after an anonymous caller reported that there were bombs placed inside the building. Authorities rushed to the scene and located multiple suspicious devices at the Tesla dealership. The Austin Police Department bomb squad were also called in to help. The incendiary devices, which are designed to cause large-scale explosive violence, were taken into police custody without incident, the department said. It is unclear who planted the devices and when they did so. No arrests have been made so far. Police are currently investigating the incident, which comes after a disturbing number of Teslas have been vandalized, burned, and targeted in attacks in recent weeks, which honestly kind of makes me just want to buy one more.
Oh, it does. What I do love, and I saw this weekend, it was a professor that was keying a Tesla. And he's so dumb, he didn't realize the Tesla was filming him key the car.
Well, and they're now going to roll out a new alert sentry mode to where if the vehicle, and it might just be for the Cybertruck, maybe for all Teslas, if the vehicle feels like it's about to be attacked or is being attacked, which I'm sure their AI is good enough to where through just the cameras they can tell if somebody's just walking by or somebody's keying the car or somebody's doing worse. But it will let out one of the loudest alarms ever. Maybe even start playing music.
Nice.
And
I think this is so ridiculous. If you don't like their product or you don't like Elon Musk, that's one thing. But boycott his product. Don't.
Right.
These are, it drives me crazy. The same people that drive you to the point of in your face, screaming and hollering. And as soon as you raise a hand, they drop to their knees. Oh my God, you're beating me. You're beating me. I can't stand these kind of people.
I know.
It drives me insane. Now, I saw that they did catch a couple. There was one guy in particular, a younger guy. And again, they was filmed doing it, crying his eyes out because he got busted. I hope he gets 100 years.
Well, if you truly believed you're on the right side of history, like truly, what wouldn't you do?
Yes and no. There would be a limit because I don't want to spend my life in prison knowing
because you're a reasonable person.
Right. There are times where you just have to go.
Well, and also, if you, I'd imagine I think there are many things you will take to the grave going, I'm right about that. I believe this to be true. But if I pressed you enough, you might be like, yeah, there's stuff I'm probably wrong about.
Oh, of course. Of course.
Especially with politics. And so for folks to be that certain, I think most of these folks are not sophisticated players at this point. That they are useful idiots turned into violent malcontents.
Obviously, their emotions rule them. I mean, they just. And what else would you want with someone like that? You want somebody that's incredibly unstable and easily manipulated.
Of course, last week, talking to my adopted godfather, Sean Hannity, stupidest adoption I've ever done, Musk said to Hannity, quote, "It turns out when you take away people's, the money that they're receiving fraudulently, they get very upset. And they basically want to kill me because I'm stopping their fraud, and they want to hurt Tesla because we're stopping the terrible waste and corruption of the government. And, well, I guess they're bad people, but bad people do bad things."
Yeah.
Wow.
Stupid.
So just another one. This just broke. This is in the Daily Mail. Multiple bombs found inside Tesla showroom in Texas, which is kind of a central hub here in the country of Tesla at this point. That's just
the key word there you said was Austin.
Austin, Texas.
Yeah. That doesn't. If it were in Dallas, I'd be a little more shaken. But Austin, they got some serious growing pains going on there now.
Too many people have moved there, you think?
Yep. Too many people that moved there for wrong reasons.
Sure. I'm going to be the next Joe Rogan.
Yep.
Well, I'm just as crazy as that Casey Rocket
exactly
guy.
right.
I can be big on the comedy strip.
Yep.
And there are a lot of folks who do move there and they do well. But the majority of people that have that dream
do not
do well.
And you've seen them on the Tony live Tony deal where they'll come in. They're like, "What are you doing?" "Well, I quit my job 2 weeks ago. I drove here. This is going to be my new career." No.
Sometimes watching Kill Tony is like addicts or Alcoholics Anonymous or just straight up crazy people.
Yeah.
Like,
I hate that, but I mean, it's like a mecca for them.
Yeah. And no, and it used to be a town, 500,000 a few years back, and now it's millions and millions.
Yep. Bad, unarmed or not unarmed, but understaffed police force, to say the least. It's just getting out of hand.
Well, I hate this, but I'm expecting it more and more because for all the talk of empathy and compassion, and we take care of the most vulnerable and the least of these in our society. No. That you just stole from Christianity. The true genius of the left is in their ability to destroy and desecrate things they could never build themselves.
That's what's so frustrating.
They're quite good at it.
Yep.
Let's go to line one. You're on there. Who's this?
Hey, Joey, this is Billy. How you doing?
Hey,
good.
Billy,
How you doing, Billy?
Doing great. Listen, what you just said, you kind of stole my thunder because probably 90% of these people that are causing damage to these Teslas and they're trying to destroy the stock with Tesla, 90% of these people have probably never held a job to begin with. Okay, so they don't know what it's like to get out every day, make a living, and pay something off and own something. They've been given stuff their entire life. They've been entitled, and when you have a group of people that way, it's hard to deal with people. And that's what we have in the Democratic Party now. That's what they cater to. And they make a living off just incinerating terror. But what gets me is if someone's got the mentality to walk inside a dealership, build a bomb, plant the bomb, don't you think they got footage of that person doing that? Don't you think they will catch those people?
Oh, eventually.
But then again, Joey, well, I don't know now. I don't know because do you know who put all these bricks, these pallets of bricks?
Pallets of bricks.
Well,
that's right.
That's a fair point.
So I don't think they'll find out who did this. So I'm kind of skeptical. So, we'll see what happens. But that being said, I hope y'all have a wonderful day.
You too, man. Thank you, Billy.
Thanks, Billy, for that ray of sunshine. Let's go to line three. You're on there. Who's this?
Joey.
Hey, James.
I'm going to confess. I did not do any of it. Okay, just in case. All right, I'm coming clean here. Joey, those people that buy Teslas, could we assume that the majority of them are tree huggers?
Some are,
Some,
but some of these folks are often very young, successful, say, tech people. And then here in Montgomery, you see a lot of Teslas.
Yeah.
But they lean to the left, do they not? Somebody that
maybe.
owns a Tesla, they're concerned about the environment because they've been sold on the carbon footprint idea, not realizing that here in Alabama, most of our electricity is generated with coal-burning power plants.
Right.
Okay, but now I'm back to the same premise. Wouldn't you imagine, if you had a guess, without any statistics in front of you, that most of these people that buy Teslas are concerned about the environment, and most of those are left-leaning?
Initially, I think it's gone beyond that particular demographic, though. They've sold millions and millions of cars at this point. And I think what you find is, say, folks in Montgomery, you're talking about folks that have been very successful. These things ain't cheap.
Right.
But the newest tech and the newest models are great. If I had the money, I'd look into it.
It's also a status symbol for a lot of people. That's a big status symbol.
Well, you're shooting down my premise. And my premise is that most of those cars are owned by those on the left, and they are being attacked by those on the left, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense, does it?
Yeah, but think about like all the folks around Trump helping with Doge and the cabinet. A lot of these folks were Clinton supporters, not just Bill, but Hillary. So there's been a big shift of, let's say, Democrats that have moved towards Trump.
You know what causes that, Joey? They grow up a little bit. Ta-ta.
Thank you, James. 272-9228. No, if I had the money, and I don't. I think Teslas
when they
are
come
really
down
cool.
to about 30 grand, we certainly talk about getting one.
Now, watch some whole in-depth video, a guy who got the whole full-on Tesla solar roof, not just panels, like got the solar tiles that look like shingles. And he's in New Jersey, and he essentially, because they do like net milling,
he can sell his power back.
Essentially, or he gets credits that apply to later. There were 3 months where he actually had to pull from the grid. It technically wasn't zero. It was like $575 a month to have the hookup and have the account with the power company up there. But the rest of the year, he wasn't pulling off the grid at all. And it's very big upfront cost, but you talk about a 25-year warranty. You pay it off in 10 years. You're more self-sufficient. And it might be you have the environmental angle, or it might be you just like the latest in tech, especially unproven technology. There are a lot of people that kind of enjoy trying the thing that isn't the beta test thing.
Plus, you got a lot of people that I can beat the power company.
Yes.
I'm not dependent on nobody.
Yeah. And then I think the Cybertruck in particular is a status symbol like yours.
Oh, 100%. Great advertising tool. Great advertising.
Right. Because are you really, if you're like having to tow all day, no, you still probably need
I think
an
I've only
F250.
seen, and I'm sure there are more, but I think I've literally only seen one at an actual boat ramp. So I don't know how many people are actually towing with it. But
you can. It's just
but if I
not
got the money, I got my F-250 sitting over there in my Tesla truck.
Right.
The problem with boat ramps, somebody else is going to hit your car. So I might not bring the Tesla to the boat ramp because somebody will hit it.
Right. And now you got to wonder, well, was it? Well, number one, you don't want to be running into a Cybertruck. That thing ain't getting hurt.
No, not really.
Maybe the plastic bumpers, but if you run into that stainless steel, your car is going to be the one messed up.
Plus, your insurance is going to be a little ticked at you.
But it is interesting how the early adopters were, the Save the Planet types. And now I should have thought of this when James was on the phone. There were folks in Canada who, in the name of climate change, vandalized, like spray painted, did smoke bombs, a Tesla dealership in Canada in the name of climate fighting to save the planet. So they vandalized a Tesla dealership
that kill the ozone to prove a point.
This is what I'm saying. If you really truly believe you're like on the right side of history, which I'm sorry, if you really truly believe, you should go, I'm not God and I am probably not worthy of anything. I'm worthy of something of the worst.
Right.
That's probably a better point of view. But there's some who are like, nope, I'm as clean as the pure driven snow.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm on the right side of history. So any means justify these
any means
noble
necessary.
ends. We'll see. Got to hit a quick break. This part of the program brought to you by Pest Pro Services and their Pest Pro Ashley and that fantastic team ready to help you with any and all of your pest control needs. It's starting to warm up.
Yes, it is.
Which means not only should you be worried about termites right now, we've been worrying about that for a few weeks at this point. You need to get on top of those termites before you ever have a big, expensive property damage problem. And Pest Pro can make sure they never even get close to your home.
That's right.
Or if they're starting up, they can knock them out immediately. but also the warmer weather portends, if I could use a word like that. Mosquitoes.
Oh, Joey, they're coming. I can hear them.
You can hear them?
Yeah, they're coming.
You can feel them?
I haven't felt any yet.
Well,
Like
because
you said,
they used to, though. They go after your sweet meat.
yeah, at the Airbnb, we couldn't even go out on the deck and enjoy the deck because just mosquitoes would run us off. But
Right.
since we've employed Pest Pro Services, we don't have that issue anymore. Just do not have it. No complaints at all from me or any of my guests at the Airbnb. And like you say, we're on the water, so we should have skeeters for days. My people are happy with them.
So you'll check out Pest Pro Services for termites, mosquitoes, but if you're just looking for an everyday local pest control company to just handle all your pest control needs, go with Pest Pro Services. You can always learn more at ppsregion.com or search for Pest Pro Services on the Book of Faces, or you just call them direct, 265-9990. That's 265-9990. When you want to know, call a pro, Pest Pro Services, and be sure to tell Ashley and that fantastic team that Joey Nettie, those fellas on the radio, sent you. 30-second break. We should have Austin Barenko on the other side.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
You want your floors to scream new, fresh, and stylish. But if yours are groaning, tired, old, and outdated, you're in luck. Because the Prattville Spring Sale is your opportunity to revitalize your floors while you save on the best brands available, including Mohawk, with perfect and professional installation and Prattville's unbeatable lifetime warranty.
Hi, I'm Ray Bowles from Prattville Carpet. If you're looking for carpet, hardwood, laminate, vinyl plank, or ceramic tile, call us today for your free measurement. Prattville Carpet, we're more than just carpet.
Start shopping now at PrattvilleCarpet.com.
The River Region's first and only News Talk station on FM. Live, local talk. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Let's go right to the phones and talk to Austin Barenko of Invista Advisors. Austin, how you doing this Monday afternoon?
And having a great Monday, Joey. Was listening to you and Eddie there for the last 30 minutes to an hour or so, and you guys are doing a great job as well.
Well, don't tell me that you sent off your saliva to 23andMe. That's very...
You know, it's funny. I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist, but my mother-in-law got us one of those for Christmas a few years ago, and I could never bring myself to do it. But I also have grandparents on both sides that have done it, and I feel pretty confident that I'm going to fall into a range of both of those sides of the family. So while I do want to know exactly my ancestry and DNA breakdown, I don't want to know it bad enough to do one of those tests.
There you go. And yeah, you can just do it by proxy with the grandparent. That makes a lot of sense to me. How does, and not that you wouldn't have inside knowledge on this, how does a company go from being worth $6 billion to being it's now a $25 million market cap? What a downfall. Dadgum.
Yeah, you can see big movements like this from companies from time to time, especially in volatile markets. I'm not really sure, the underlying technicals on how they dropped like that. It sounds like you're talking about 23andMe, which I really have not done research on. But when you are in times of market volatility and there are, underlying issues for companies, if there's just one little thing I call it little, it ends up starting little. And then once you get audits and people under the hood to really understand what the problem is, if it's a big issue, shareholders bail out extremely quick, driving the price down. And today, most investment managers out there, especially the institutional ones, trade based on algorithms, so it can compound the sell-off. You'll have a technical trigger at, say, a 20% drop. And so, if the price of that stock dropped 20% and you have a bunch of institutional traders with a 20%, limit to sell, then boom, all those institutional traders execute at once, and you may have another tranche of institutional traders with a 40% limit, and then they all sell out, and so then it just completely compounds into oblivion. And that's not super common, but it's also not uncommon in today's day and age of trading.
Right, and it just does seem like things are moving a mile a minute. It is crazy how quickly the news, whether it's private investment in the country or more and more tariff announcements as we lead up to April 2nd. But folks, if you're looking for a group, a team, a great company that can help plan your long-term financial future. It, of course, has to do with watching the markets and watching your investment, say, strategy. But this is a more holistic approach, right, Austin? This is really personalized to each customer.
It definitely is, and we are a much more conservative money manager than most of our peers out there. But, we're always going to start with a financial plan. Once we have a plan, then we can talk about the investments. And so, if you're someone out there looking for these, hyper-aggressive stock portfolios, we may not be a good fit. But if you're looking to, build a legitimate long-term retirement plan and want some guidance on how to slowly accumulate wealth and get some growth out of it at the same time, that's right up our alley. And we'd love the opportunity to speak with you and build a plan.
Well, and it all starts with a phone call, 387-0094. That's 387-0094. You can also always go to InvistaAdvisors.com to learn more. But when you start that conversation on the phone, be sure to tell them, hey, I heard Austin Branco on the radio with Joey Clark. Let's see what you can do for me.
Awesome. Thank you, Joey, and you and Eddie. Have a great week.
Appreciate it. Again, folks, that's Austin Branco with Invista Advisors.
The opinions voiced in this material are for general information only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. All performance referenced is historical and is no guarantee of future results. All indices are unmanaged and may not be invested into directly. The opinions expressed in this material do not necessarily reflect the views of LPL Financial. Securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA SIPC. Investment advice is offered through Invista Advisors, registered investment advisor and separate entity from LPL Financial.
After the top of the hour break, we should have State Representative Debbie Wood. Her post-election audit bill passed last week out of the State House. It now has to go to the State Senate. We're going to be talking to Debbie about, how it got through the House and chances in the Senate and why this bill is so important for election integrity here in the great state of Alabama. Y'all stay tuned.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusada, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer says he won't resign his post despite pressure from some in the party after he voted to move forward with Republican spending legislation that avoided a government shutdown. A jury in Georgia has ordered Monsanto parent Bayer to pay nearly $2.1 billion in damages to a man who says the company's Roundup weed killer caused his cancer. The agrochemical giant says it will appeal the verdict. The penalties awarded $65 billion in compensatory damages and $2 billion in punitive damages. The measles outbreak in Texas up to 309 cases, with one measles-related death, while New Mexico's case count up to 42 and one measles-related death. 42 people have been hospitalized across those two states. This is SRN News.
Don't settle for less. Your dog deserves the best. That's why we created Dr. Fido's, a plant-based dog food topper packed with 40 ingredients made with whole foods from carrots to bananas. And the best part? No cooking, no chopping, just stir it into their food. Go to drfidos.com and subscribe today and save $20 a month. Vet developed, dog trusted. This is the human-grade dog food topper that gives you peace of mind. Dogs can't write 5-star reviews, but their owners have.
I've always thought that dog food seems like a little bland, and so this helps give it a little bit of flavor, just something interesting for them. And yeah, they really love it. So yeah, I would definitely recommend it.
Go to drfidos.com and subscribe to save $20 each month. That's drphytos.com.
Rich Thomas Weather is brought to you by MPM Feed and Seed. It's time to get those gardens ready. From seeds to plants to fertilizer, MPM has what you need. Shop MPM Feed and Seed in Prattville, 1313 Highway 31 North. Open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, Saturdays, 8 to 1.
Looks beautiful. Sunshine will dominate Tuesday and Wednesday with a high in the low 80s tomorrow and near 80 on Wednesday. And even Thursday and Friday are looking great with abundant sunshine. Upper 70s to low 80s. The next chance of rain arriving late Saturday night into Sunday, it looks like right now. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
CB&S Bank has a long history of stability and a legacy of serving our community's needs for generations since we began in 1906. At CB&S Bank, we're here for you. All loans subject to credit approval, member FDIC, and equal housing lender.
From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, these are today's top stories. Hundreds of people from across the country spent the weekend in Montgomery to mark the 60th anniversary of the historic Selma to Montgomery Civil Rights March. A family fun day and Stars for Freedom rally were held at Carver High School to commemorate the events that led to the signing of the 1965 Voting Rights Act. The public is invited to take part in 2 town hall meetings that will feature the 2 remaining candidates for superintendent of Montgomery Public Schools. The meetings will be held today and tomorrow at Carver High School beginning at 5 p.m. The Montgomery County Board of Education is expected to make a final decision on superintendent sometime before April 8th. Alabama and Auburn each survived both their opening round games of the NCAA men's basketball tournament to advance to the Sweet 16. The Tide and Tigers resume play on Thursday as Bama battles the surprising BYU Cougars in the East region. Overall number 1 seed Auburn will take on Michigan in the South region on Friday. Tip-off times to be announced. From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, I'm Sky Mosley.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
We all want access to care and coverage we need to stay healthy, but Farm Bureau health plans aren't the answer. They are unregulated and unreliable when it comes to covering you and your family. If you have cancer or another pre-existing condition, well, you'd be out of luck. Alabama deserves better than empty promises. Call your state legislator now and tell them to vote no on Farm Bureau health plans. Visit fightcancer.org/Alabama. It's time for real health insurance.
Paid for by the American Cancer Society Cancer Action Network.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. We are awaiting a call from State Representative Debbie Wood. She's not on the line yet, though. Hopefully she'll be joining us here soon. But we got a regular on the phone.
That's right.
And I tend to like this regular. He was giving us a little bit of backbone, a little bit of self-esteem, a little pep talk when Auburn was taking on ASU.
Yes, he was.
And I appreciate him for that. And I appreciate him for all these years of kicking things around with us. Let's go right to the phones and talk to Duke. Hey, Duke, how you doing?
Damn, I delivered their lunch for that, boy. What are you going to feed me at today?
Feed you?
I thought you were going to feed us. We were kind of putting you over the top.
Yeah, we were doing that. My payment was that very generous introduction.
For a sandwich.
I appreciate you.
You're welcome.
Good man. But before I forget about it, I'm going to tell you how stupid people are now.
Okay.
All right.
There's this Michigan guy that owned a business here in town and a medical place. He doctor at a doctor's office. Okay, he had me do some work for him, and he called me back to take the graphics down last week. He said that I heard already that what had happened to him when Trump got in office. Most of his patients were illegal, half of them illegal, and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy told me out of his own mouth now. He said, yes, when Trump got in office, I voted for him. He said, I voted for him and everything, but my patients called in and said that they're not coming in anymore because they asked me was I going to turn them in, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Why in the hell would somebody, I asked somebody earlier about the hen house. Why would you hire the fox to guard your hen house? Why would you vote somebody who's going to take away your customers? Okay, what did he gain from that?
Well, I guess that's how we look at it. Yeah, it took away his customers, I guess, but he could probably change his business strategy and go after legitimate.
He told me he's gonna go. He told me he's going to. I'm done with it now. I'm going to do roofing work.
Well, there you go. Okay, that kind of shows you. So he was a doctor, and now he's going to be a roofer.
Yeah.
What kind of doctor?
I don't know about
He's
that.
so tired of dealing with the system.
Wait, is he the guy giving those discount vasectomies
Right,
down
out
the
the back of
Mobile
a
Highway?
van? Yeah.
I don't know. But it's just that's just how people are. Men being so stupid. Why are you gonna help the man shut down you?
Maybe because there are certain things that would be better for the nation as a whole, despite it conflicting with certain people's narrow interests.
He's scared his ass gonna get caught that way. He can shut down. But anyhow,
Well, if he's a doctor and then tomorrow he's a roofer, something tells me one of the two. He's not really.
He's
one of
gonna
the
hire
two.
other people to do the work.
Wait. Is he like a witch doctor?
Huh?
It's like
He put the voodoo on somebody.
Ain't no telling. And he probably do a little bit on the side. But Joey, my point I was trying to lead to here, sir, is there's a lot of folks out here running scared and this and that, but those people that doing those cars, those are conservatives. Now let's keep it where it at now, because the reason be because okay, you remember when Trump first started out, he picking on the Mexican and Negroes right out of the chute, taking all the rights away, this and that, DEI, this and that, and how many times the Negro been in the streets out there tearing up stuff? Not once.
Yeah, well, and also like DEI is not helping the average black person.
No.
Well, I'm saying now, all the stuff that Trump doing, testing people. We have not been.
No, he's doing exactly what he promised.
Ain't coming in the streets like that. Not this time. We're gonna let these ones at the town hall fight their own battles. You voted for this. That's what you want.
I don't think most of the ones that are arguing in the town halls voted for him either, to be honest.
Right.
Oh, they said it. I got two close friends that voted for him, and hell, they lost their federal jobs too. Got a cousin that lost his down in Houston, Texas. Okay, but anyway,
did they answer those
my
emails?
point is that fight your own battle. Don't sit here and try to say the Democrat did this or that. No, your folks did it. Your side. My independent people didn't do it. You did it to yourself by going in there, listen to this man. He told you what the hell they're gonna do. He told you they're gonna take your job.
Yeah, maybe we don't need that many federal jobs.
Maybe that particular job they had wasn't.
No, I
know, right?
constantly hear about when people want to spend more money with the government, have the government hire more people, have the government intrude into every nook and cranny of life, and the government run the globe. It's all said that to raise all this money and engage in more, the government, you just need you need to sacrifice for the common good, Joey. But as soon as it's in the common good to actually right-size the government, to downsize the government, to re-privatize the economy, all of a sudden it's like, but what about my stuff?
They're doing it crazy though, man.
No, they're not.
They're doing it crazy.
Even when I was in school, and
no, they're actually doing it. Is the actual thing that's going on?
Problem. They're doing it. It's not crazy.
It's
just they're being done.
To do everything now.
Oh, but there's a way to do it. No, that's just an excuse not to do it.
Right. Or slow it down.
No.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it is.
Well, y'all threw me off a little bit. Where I was going with something. Yeah, y'all kind of double team me now.
You was going to say it was the Democrats' fault. That's what we're boiling down to.
Huh?
You were going to say
So it's the
Democrats' fault.
And what I'm saying now, they're trying to blame. I be hearing the last few days they're trying to flip the script. Like they don't want to feel embarrassed that their own people out there mad as hell because you took the stuff away. Now, okay. So
well, that's you know who you're talking to, right? That's the problem. Everybody's thinking you're taking my stuff away. It's not your cheese.
Right.
It was cheese taken from everybody else. And I'm sorry that you're on the short end of the stick and you're not getting any more cheese.
Right. But you can go make your own cheese.
But you knew when you took that job that you were taking cheese from the people's cheese pot. If there's even such a thing.
Ain't got no cheese no more. But boys, I want to make a point right quick though. Use the state of Alabama for example.
Okay.
This is a right to work state. Okay.
Yes, it is.
These companies don't have to provide insurance, nothing for you on these jobs. Especially Hyundai plant companies, stuff like places like that. So a lot of people go get these state jobs because they got what? So-called benefits, and federal job got benefits, insurance, and all that. So a lot of people does it for that reason, what I understand. And I had a state job offer one time, but hey, they didn't want to pay no damn money. So I said, I don't want
They
this
pay
job.
in benefits.
Right. So a lot of people go for that. So when they hit the fan at the end of the day, you took this job and federal government come down on the downside. I respect they need to downsize this stuff. I understand all that, but do it the right way. People may say it's not a good way and the right way. But hell, just snatching people's jobs up. I just bought my new house too out in the woods out there, Pike Road, and you take my stuff away. Yeah, I'm gonna shoot me some dogs and cows and everything, and may take out 2 or 3 blocks if I snap. If I was old,
How come that's only on federal jobs when companies like plants, like say Hyundai or a plumbing supply company or something like that goes out of business, the world doesn't protest and shoot stuff. They just literally, people tell you, hey, go get you another job. They try to encourage you.
Right.
They don't say, hey, that company's wrong. We need to burn that company down. No.
Right.
It's a job, man.
Yeah, I lost jobs myself.
Right.
But,
I was looking for a job when I found
Well,
out.
no, but Duke, what's underlying this is like we say in America, all men are created equal, right?
Mm-hmm.
These folks act like they're more equal than others. Seriously. They act like they're more equal than everybody else.
Yes, you're
that
right.
because they work for the government, they have special rights and should have special pleading that they can go and play their little violins.
Well, yeah,
it sucks when anybody
don't.
loses a job, but it's very frustrating that people don't see the bigger picture here. Incredibly frustrating. And all these folks complaining right now will be screaming like crazy down the road when we really have to cut back the budget because we didn't do it today. And we should have done it 10 years ago. We got to make big boy decisions. And if people want to go,
show us what you're doing, though, Joey.
That's what we're doing.
Before you take these people's jobs, talk to them and let them know what you're doing. Don't just go on damn TV on a Friday evening and wave a damn pass on the air.
I guess people weren't paying attention during the election campaign.
These are the things he promised to do.
This was literally promised over and over again, but y'all didn't believe it. Anyway, I got to run, Duke. Appreciate the call.
See you, Duke.
Always appreciate the call.
Duke's
talking, everybody's talking nonsense today.
Guess we got his goat.
Is this our guest here?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to try to change my tone of voice.
All right.
You got me all worked up. But we have State Representative Debbie Wood on the phone. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you, sir?
I'm all right, just arguing, folks. But I know you had to argue with some folks last week as this post-election audit bill
I did.
made its way through the State House. First, tell us about the bill, folks who don't know what it does, and then what it was like getting it through the House here in Alabama.
Well, we really tried. This is the second year to get it passed. There's been a lot of conversation over the fact that there are people that just want everything hand counted. I think I've been a little frustrated that I've gotten some feedback, being one of 104 representatives. The other 104 have not tried to get a post-election audit bill passed. But here we are. Year 2, we did some amending in the committee. The bill, there are 30 ballots that have to be counted in all 67 of our counties hand counted. The rest of the ballots can go back through the tabulator. This is the way that we ensure election integrity in our state. Most of our representatives have not had a close race, and this has really not been on their radar. But if you win a race by 1 or 6, that I actually won my primary by, you actually start paying attention to what goes through those tabulators. And we do know that they will count copy ballots. So this is a way to ensure that we're checking after each general and statewide election to make sure that we're counting the ballots correctly.
And so I'm glad to see it passed. Was there any pushback? Where was the pushback coming from?
The pushback came from, I'm experiencing some allergies right now.
Yes, ma'am. Likewise.
But the pushback came from the Democrats. Not sure why. This does not prevent anyone from voting. This should be bipartisan.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. They feel like it's in response to Trump from 2020. That is not what this is about. This is about a lady that ran copied ballots through the tabulator, and it counted those ballots.
Yep.
She came to me, showed me her video, and I thought, we have to stop this. We have to ensure that we have election integrity in Alabama when all we've been told is that we're the gold standard.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if we're the gold standard, why are we the last state to do post-election audits? Every other state, they've already passed something for post-election audits except Alabama.
Wow.
So I've been a little frustrated, but here we are. We've got it through the House. We just got to get it through the Senate.
So what are you expecting with the Senate?
Well, Senator Albritton is going to carry it in the Senate. He has told me that he will push it, and so I'm expecting it to get in committee, hopefully when we get back from spring break, and get it on the floor.
And folks, if you want to look this up, I believe it's correct. It's HB 30, right?
It is, correct. Yes, thank you. It's HB 30. We do have the Senate version, but they have not. We don't have a bill number, so I think they're just going to run with HB 30 in the Senate.
Very good. Well, and this does need to get done. The lady that you mentioned earlier ran the copied ones through and counted, Angela Shepard. We talked to her many times here on the show, and you're right. This is way past due. I don't know why Alabama doesn't have this, and
yes,
I think you have a good champion in the Senate there with Senator Albritton.
Right. Well, I'm really excited that we're at least through the House, and it's early. Last year, we got through the House very late. It was on the floor being debated, and they used this to kind of stall the gambling bill. We don't have that issue this year, so I'm anticipating it getting through.
Excellent.
Very good. Now, just in general topics, what should people, as we're watching the House in particular, the side you're on, what should we be watching for in the upcoming weeks in the session here?
Well, we've already got it through the House. All we've got to do is get it through committee and the Senate, and then get it on the Senate floor. So last year we got it through the House, but like I said, it was very late in session, and now we're about halfway through. So we need to fight to push it to get it on the Senate floor so that we can get a vote.
Well, I appreciate that work you're doing. I'm glad it's actually getting done. It shouldn't have taken 2 years. It should have been done yesterday. But the fact that you've picked this up, you fought for this, it's got momentum. I appreciate that. And I appreciate you calling into the show and letting us know. Is there anything folks out there listening can do?
Well, what they can do is, get in touch with their local representatives and tell them that this is important. I mean, election integrity should be at the top of our list as legislators. We owe that to the public to ensure when they stand in line, when they take off work, when they go and they absentee vote, that their vote counts when it's legal, and the ones that shouldn't count do not count. So please get in touch with your legislator and let them know it's important.
Well, Debbie, I appreciate the time as always, and let's stay on top of this, and best of luck.
Well, and thank you so much for shining the light on this issue. I appreciate you.
Thank you, ma'am. Again, folks, that's State Representative Debbie Wood. Appreciate her pushing that, threatening. To me, it's common sense.
It's a no-brainer, yeah. The fact that they fight this just drives me crazy.
It requires the judge of probate of each county to conduct a post-election audit after every county and statewide general election to determine the accuracy of the originally reported results of the election. Pretty straightforward.
Just a no-brainer.
So I like that it passed, and we'll see where it goes in the Senate.
Right.
We shall see. I didn't want to pick on her too much, going like, why are y'all going to raise taxes on overtime? But
Oh, I had a lot of thoughts about that today or this morning on the way in.
It's driving me nuts.
With their braggadocious of other things that they have no reason to brag.
No, they're cutting the grocery tax, which they already cut, but they indexed it. So they're essentially just removing the index. It's like it's like artificial. They're creating artificial scarcity.
And these are Republicans, folks. These are supposed to be people that are not for all the tax in the world, but they tax the hell out of us.
But this is something that the majority leader, Stouthagen, minority leader Daniels, Speaker of the House, Ledbetter, and I believe the sponsor of the tax package the Republicans are going with is Representative Danny Garrett, who, like a lot of these guys I hear, is a good guy. He'll sit and talk it out. He'll argue and has his reasons. He's not
Let me ask you this.
unreasonable, but I don't like it. I don't think it goes far enough.
You think any one of them people you just named ever got up at 2 a.m. to go work overtime so they could make sure their kid got something to eat that day or make sure that their house payment was going to be made? Do you think they've ever had worries of the common man? And what they're doing at this point is putting the concerns, it's not even worries, the concerns of the state over a worker. Got nothing for them. I hope a bus lands on them.
Were they falling out of the sky or something?
If I could, I'd throw it from here.
272-9228. We'll see how it all shakes out because we're like halfway through this session.
Yeah.
But, they get a bunch of spring break, so that's cool.
Yeah, they do. Hey, that guy working overtime, guess what he's doing? He's working.
272-9228. This part of the program brought to you by River Region Contracting. And there at River Region Contracting, Todd Clark and the team are ready to help you with that roof of yours. Could be an asphalt shingle roof or metal roof. Both can have unique issues that you may not be able to see. Say you get your big old butt actually up on the roof. What are you looking for?
You're hoping to see something obvious, right?
Like a hole.
Like a big old hole.
Right. Or like that shingle, that's completely ripped off the roof. Well, maybe we should check that
something
out.
obvious.
Right, but are you really going to take time to check every rubber seal on that metal roof?
No, let me go ahead and tell you. Most of the time, you walk around that roof until you almost fall. And then you go, okay, I'm getting down now.
And they get down and you go, job well done.
Yep,
Let's go make a sandwich. No, that's not. Call up the professionals there at River Region Contracting. Even if you recently had an inspection done on your roof, say you're worried after hearing bumps in the middle of the night with the storms that have rolled through.
Yeah.
Well, and the great news is when you use River Region Contracting, their inspections are always free.
That's right, Joey.
As are their estimates. And they're insurance specialists. So they can walk you through that insurance claims process, make it a swift and easy experience. Again, that's River Region Contracting. Call them today at 356-8635. That's 356-8635. And be sure to tell them that Joey and Eddie, those fellas on the radio, sent you.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
This is your roving reporter, and today I am talking with an elk. Hey man, Mr. Elk, I was just wondering, what do elk do to take care of their money? Well, like most smart folks, we call David Erdis. You mean Alabama's most favorite asset preservationist? That's him, man. We call him up at 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. I see. Yes, he is our preferred money man. The money man with the money plan. You've been paying attention. Well, could you give us those numbers one more time? 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. And I just want to try to give you a heads up, man. Oh, what's that? I'm not an elk. Not an elk, huh? Well, then, pray tell, what are you? Knights of Columbus. I am not even going to make a comment. Well, the baby liked it.
For reliable electrical services in Central Alabama, trust the experts at Crosby Electric. Crosby's licensed and insured electricians are ready to tackle any project for your home. From troubleshooting, repairs, to installing new lighting and preventive maintenance. And Crosby understands the need for quality service for small business. Crosby is big enough for the largest job, yet small enough to bring real value. Visit CrosbyElectric.com to schedule your service. Crosby, powering Central Alabama with excellence.
Are you tired of the mainstream media's biased reporting? Do you want to stay informed on the news that really matters to you? Look no further than 1819 News. At 1819 News, we bring you the latest in Alabama news, politics, sports, culture, and more. We've assembled a team of journalists with Alabama values dedicated to the truth and the truth alone. Visit us at 1819news.com today. That's 1819news.com. Subscribe to our newsletter. Honest News, Alabama Values. This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
Live, local talk. The River Region's most trusted voice for news and opinion. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Now, of course, last week, Trump did the big signing, giving a mission to the new Secretary of Education, Linda McMahon, to dismantle the Department of Education. Here is Secretary McMahon. Yes, that McMahon, Linda McMahon, talking about kind of what's the why do this?
President's, hue and cry. He said we are spending more money per pupil than any country in the world, and we're seeing less results. That's a clear indicator that we are not doing the best thing we can do for our students. I do think returning to basics is the best way to do it. We need to teach math and English and literacy and writing. We don't need to teach ideology. We have to let teachers teach. I have such respect for our teachers. I think it is the most noble profession in the world. And I have seen what can happen when teachers are allowed to teach and to be innovative and to be creative in their classrooms.
By the way, and we mentioned it last week, but the person who wrote most of the executive orders Trump signed out the gate, Linda McMahon.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
She's not somebody to take lightly.
I knew she was no flub.
Brett, for every dollar that goes into the school system, the federal funding, it's been reported to me that almost 47 cents of that dollar is spent in regulatory compliance. Teachers, they don't want to stay. They're leaving the profession because they are bogged down by regulation. Let's lift that burden and let them do what they do best, which is teach.
But of course, that was last week. You now had the Sunday talk shows got their time at bat.
Oh.
And they're doing this game of, but what about all that money they're sending to your state?
My money? Money they're taking from the state? Okay, just checking.
But let me just say, whether it's education or so many other things, the problem is we are spending boatloads of money. More money than most people can dream of, ever having.
Yep.
We are spending more and more money. We have been spending more and more and more money, not just on education, but on healthcare and on the Department of War, or we still call it defense, and go down the line. We're spending all this money.
Right.
And yet the results are getting worse. We spend all this money on healthcare, probably one of the biggest ballooning parts of the budget. The federal government provides the revenue for over 50% of healthcare spending. Easily. But the outcomes keep getting worse and worse in terms of Americans' health. We spend ridiculous amount of money on education. Yet are the results much better?
No, in fact, there was a report this weekend that said only like 25% actually goes to the students.
And it seems to be, because I've seen it in other countries, it happens in the UK, it's happening in Canada, heard an argument similar to this, where folks think if we just spend more money, it means we're dealing with the problem.
No, it doesn't.
No. It means you're just spending more money and you're not solving the problem, which is worse than spending less and solving the problem.
Yep.
That is the problem, that we are spending money thinking we're doing a good thing, and we're destroying the very foundations of what make us a dynamic society, a robust economy. Also, a nation that is meant to be much more local, where the thing that matters most is who your mayor is, is who your city councilman is. And God forbid, who's your state rep, who's your state senator. But as we all know, people barely even know who their United States senator is. Most folks only ever vote in presidential elections. And yet we're told, well, if a majority of people vote for a president, that president is really hemmed in by all the other institutions. It's absurd. The problem isn't money. The problem is how the structure takes in that money, spits it out, and gives us worse and worse results. That is the problem. And on top of that, you have a debt load that is going to pull this country under if we don't get on top of it 5 years ago. Not today.
Right.
We should have done it 5 years ago. It's absolutely insane. But like I said, the Sunday shows got their time at bat, and one of my, if not my favorite, Senator Britton, Coach.
Yeah.
Rand Paul. I think I just like his
Well,
hair.
we know you got a soft spot for Rand Paul.
I know. That
That's
little,
okay.
That gadfly doesn't always go along with the team.
No. He's a very independent guy.
He's got all these crazy ideas about economics and freedom and whatnot.
And neighbors.
But here Rand Paul is asked by the execrable Margaret Brennan of Face the Nation on CBS about all the money being sent to education. All that money. And I mean, I bet you can anticipate what Rand Paul's response might be, but let's just listen in to the action here.
When we looked at the budget in Kentucky, the state receives $2 billion in federal education funding. Do you have a guarantee that the federal government, federal taxpayers will still provide $2 billion in education funding? That seems important to your state.
I'd rather, what I'd rather is a guarantee that my kids can read and write and do math. The amount of dollars, look, the number of dollars has gone up exponentially and our scores have gone the other way. So dollars are not proportional to educational success. What I want is success. And I've talked a lot about this. I think there are innovations we can do where there's more learning via some of the best teachers and we pay them more. I would like to have an NBA or NFL of teachers, the most extraordinary teachers, teach the entire country.
Who would run that? The education department?
And some of them.
Goodness.
No, what you'd find is they'd be selected out state by state, across the nation. Look, people say, oh, with the Department of Education would have no testing. I was in school before then. We did achievement tests in the 6th grade, the 5th grade, the 8th grade, and we compared ourselves across state lines. There were international testing.
Yeah.
You don't need the Department of Education for any of that. But what I can tell you is the best teacher in the world is not teaching the kids.
Yeah.
What we need to do is have the best teachers and pay them more, but they wouldn't teach 30 kids. They might teach 10 million kids at a time because it would be presented through the internet with local teachers reinforcing the lessons.
Yeah, she's just kind of discounting him the whole way.
Oh, of course. No, you're not
Okay.
you're not playing into my thing
Yeah.
that I'm trying to
Okay.
do here. No, as I've gone over time and time again with that execrable woman, her whole job is to teach people how to emotionally react to this stuff,
but
not
what-
actually think.
But what he was saying, we already do, not everyone, but a lot of adults do now with YouTube. If I need to know something, if I can't figure out why my air conditioner won't come on, and I call the AC place, it's July, and they're saying, okay, Mr. Beatty, we'll see you when we can see you, but it might be 3 days. People like me go on YouTube, start figuring out the problem, and a lot of times we fix it. And it could be your air conditioner, it could be something wrong with your car, it could be household things.
So wait, while they're sitting there at the AC place joking about this guy's name's Mr. Bader, you're already fixing it.
I've already fixed it. I went and bought that $30 part that they're going to charge me $300 for. People do that all the time with your car repair. Look on YouTube. There's on how to change your oil. I mean, there's already those lessons out there. So what he's wanting to do, I think, is great. You just have a master plan that, hey, this is the lesson, and we bring this lesson down. I don't think it's that hard, and it gets everybody on the same page. Because as someone that grew up in the military, we traveled all the time. Never two schools that I ever go to were even close to being on the same program, scholastic program. They usually all had confusion between each other, between the credits and the subjects I was taking, mandatory classes like that. It never made any sense. So this would actually, I don't know if I couldn't guarantee it'd fix it, but make things a lot simpler.
And by the way, there are certain programs that are being moved to USDA, being moved to HHS, being moved to the Treasury Department.
Well, one of the funniest ones was they said nobody's going to get to eat anymore.
Yeah, I know.
That just
everything is the sky is falling because we're actually trying to find structural and monetary efficiencies. Because we're $2 trillion in deficit, which is absurd for a nation as wealthy as we are. We're constantly $2 trillion in deficit or $36 trillion in straight up debt. Don't get me started on the unfunded liabilities for all our entitlements.
Yeah.
Our interest alone, yearly interest payments on the national debt is more than the Department of Defense. You're just paying for the privilege of creating more debt. How is that going to sit with the next generation? If you don't, again, you should have been solving this 5 years ago, at least. We're here now. And it is frustrating to see that, well, it's all about the common good when government is growing. But apparently it's all about narrow self-interest when the common good requires us to downsize the government so that everybody's cheese is protected. I still believe the vast majority of Americans agree with this.
Oh, yeah, I think
I'm
so,
really
too.
not buying into the astroturfing being put on by the corporate press at this point. Let's go to line 1. You're on there. Who's this?
It's Clint.
Hey, Clint. How are you doing?
Good day, guys. Hey, I need the number to Coach Tuberville, please.
You need the number to
contact him. How to
Tuberville's office?
contact his office.
All right, give me just a couple
Yes.
minutes, Clint. I'll get it for you, buddy.
You ready to copy this down?
Hold on. Let me get you on hold for a second. I'll get it for you. Give me just a second.
All right.
Hold on. I think I got it.
You got it? Oh, look at here.
1 second.
All right.
All right. Now,
Do you want the?
You ready?
Do you want the
I got
local?
a broken arm. I cannot write, so I got someone writing it. Just give it to me. I got to say it out loud.
This is the local Montgomery office.
Okay.
It's 334
334
523
523
7424.
7424.
Yes.
All right.
That's the local
But
Montgomery.
I call my reps. So, yeah.
I'm glad you do.
I want to talk to the coach about VA. So
Good.
Okay.
Good.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, guys. Great program. Have a good day.
Thank you, buddy.
Clint. Yeah, I wonder how he's doing. It sounds like broken arm.
Broke
ain't no
arm,
fun.
yeah.
No fun at all. 272-9228. That's 334-272-9228. But here's Linda McMahon going into the Lion's Den on CNN.
Okay.
With fake Tapper. Well, no. It was Dana Bash. Dana Bash. Yeah, that's who Linda McMahon, the Secretary of Education, was talking to. Dana Bash on CNN. Let's listen into their back and forth just a little bit here.
They're not going to be disrupted. And it really does rest from the federal level on the funding. So the funding is appropriated by Congress. It flows through to the states. But am I, the Secretary of Education sitting in Washington, going to have a view into a schoolroom where a teacher is trying to take care of a student with special needs? Or is that going to happen better at the local level where that teacher, in cooperation with the parents and the local school officials, has more opportunity to make sure that student's needs are taken care of? That's where it needs to lie. But if they don't have the funding, if they don't have the support from Congress to continue to appropriate that money, then that's where the students can really, fall through the cracks.
I just don't understand people defending a system that has produced crap.
Yeah.
That has become so many of these programs, and you can tell by some of the way people are screaming about it. There are a lot of federal employees who I'm sure have been fired. They don't say a word. They go like a man or an American, go find a different job. They're probably not happy about it, but they're not going to talk to the news. Right. And I respect you folks a lot. There are also probably a lot of federal employees who are like, yeah, this is a mess. Thank God things are actually getting changed up a bit. There's always cliques within these institutions.
Clicks within clicks, man.
And in many ways, this is what Doge is leaning on. Folks who have been unhappy with how things have done think it could have been better going forward.
Well, speaking of Doge, this weekend I have, and with other people, I've heard more and more people say, and I've been one of them, we need to Doge that.
Yeah.
We talk about everything from state government to our local real estate groups. Everybody I know, whatever membership they're involved in, where they want to be or not, I was like, you know what? How do we get a Doge into that program? That has really opened up a lot of people's eyes, because for years, honestly, nobody had to report anything if they didn't want to. It was more of a volunteer thing. But now that, hey, there's a chance that your company might get doged for whatever reason. Maybe your CEO says, I want to be able to show everyone where the money's going.
Right.
That might just get a few people's attention.
Well, but when you learn that some of the changes are like basic accounting standards, that if a major corporation didn't do it, they would be in prison.
It'd be fraud. Joey, if I just opened up my books and it said Joey Clark paid him $1 million, Jay Scott, I paid him $1 million.
Or it says paid $1 million. It doesn't even say Joey Clark.
Yeah, that's a legitimate expense right there.
Yeah.
It says I paid $1 million.
I paid $1 million. I don't have it booked, but that's Freddie. We go way back.
Right, does somebody Freddie.
He does all my back end work.
Freddie. Freddie.
You know what back end work is, right?
Yeah, nobody wants that.
But that's what's remarkable is like the systems as they currently exist are not serving people well. And a lot of these systems, as you can tell by the hysterical reaction, the press at least amplifies. They're much more full employment programs for middle and upper middle class people than they are actually about solving problems.
Right.
And there's often an incentive in government not to solve the problem, because if you solve the problem, well, why do we need to continue to exist? Let's just manage our problem.
Solving the problem, too, sometimes cuts off my donor. Can't do that.
This is, part of the larger issue.
Right.
But I've been making that critique for a long time, that so many of these government programs are really just full employment programs for middle and upper middle class folks. They're not about actually serving the kids or making people healthier or really keeping the water clean and the air clean and yada, yada, go down the list.
Well, just to prove that, how many times, and I know we're different ages, but how many times in your life have you heard or even been told that you should get a government job? You're not, the private sector ain't for you. You should go get a government job. You should go see if the post office is hiring. There's a reason for that. It's the nicest way of them telling you that you're not the sharpest knife in the drawer. You need somebody that's going to kind of baby you a little bit. But those days are over.
Well, and there's almost like a bell curve going on here, because also some of the top talent, like the government, DOD, intelligence, all these, like, gobble them up. Like, you're a great engineer or you're a great analyst or whatever. Like, come on, work for us. Ridiculous pay. Usually are very smart people, but you got to wonder again. Look at all the money we spend on the DOD. I love that Elon Musk was invited to the Pentagon.
Yeah,
Doging the Pentagon should be a top priority.
Exactly.
But you look at all the money spent by the military interest. Like, what do we got to show for it?
A lot more war.
So we'll see. I hope they keep up the pressure. This part of the program brought to you by Montgomery Men's Health. And they're at Montgomery Men's Health. They're ready to help you fellas out if you're feeling run down and tired, seeing unwanted weight gain, loss of muscle mass, like you're mentally exhausted, physically exhausted. You're falling asleep right after lunch when before you used to be able to pull all-nighters and it was no problem. You wouldn't peter out at all. And speaking of that, maybe you have no sex drive to speak of. Like you're petered out all the time in that regard.
Good.
That's no fun at all. If you're experiencing this whole bundle of symptoms, it could very well be you're suffering from low testosterone. So to check out whether or not you have low T, you need to get by Montgomery Men's Health. The providers there will conduct a testosterone-focused lab workup plus a consultation for only $99. Really, it's just a quick blood draw. They ask you a few basic quality of life questions. And if your score comes back and says, yep, you got low testosterone, they have low T treatments there at Montgomery Men's Health that can truly change lives. Men after treatment can experience higher energy, better gains in the gym. Brother. That's right, brother. Better mental clarity, improved sleep patterns, a faster metabolism, and you usually even notice an increased libido.
Nothing wrong with that.
No, there's a lot right with it. And you can actually book the same day you call. Call them today at 440-3663. That's 440-3663. Or go to MontgomeryMen'sHealth.com to book your appointment today.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
Rich Thomas Weather, brought to you by Wiley Sanders Truck Lines. Hiring experienced truck drivers right now. They offer Blue Cross Blue Shield, 401k, and per diem. They've been in business since 1959, and they're still growing strong. Call recruiting now at 855-777-9785. Wiley Sanders Truck Line.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. The better rain chances are mainly early in the day today, but I think even this afternoon, I can't rule out a leftover shower or two. Today's high around 75, partly cloudy, 48 the low tonight, and the rest of the week looks beautiful. Sunshine will dominate Tuesday and Wednesday with a high in the low 80s tomorrow and near 80 on Wednesday, and even Thursday and Friday are looking great with abundant sunshine. Upper 70s to low 80s. The next chance of rain arriving late Saturday night into Sunday, it looks like right now. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Hello, everyone. Robbie Pelt with Capital City Roofing. If you think about it, your home is your biggest investment in life. Your roof covers your home, so why jeopardize your biggest investment on a roofer you don't know anything about when you can deal with a reputable roofing company like Capital City Roofing? We have an A+ Better Business rating and the best manufacturers and workmanship warranties available. We do all residential and commercial roofing applications that are certified through the manufacturer to ensure you get the best material and workmanship money can buy. We also have your project in our best interest before and after construction has been done. Don't hesitate to call us if you have any roofing issues or questions. We will match any of our competitors' price and give you the same great workmanship warranty. We also give free estimates. Give us a call today and let us show you the difference. 277-3311. That's 277-3311. Or you can check us out on the web at www.capitalcityroofing.com. Capital City Roofing. We capitalize the roofing industry.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline Nasal Spray?
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
Hey, it's Ashley, the owner of Pest Pro Services, and just a quick reminder about our most popular services, termite, pest, and mosquito control. And here's something you may not know, our mosquito control now covers fleas and ticks too. Building a home, call us for your termite treatment. Selling a home, call us for your real estate inspection. Whether it's your home or business, we'll keep you protected. Call or text 265-9990, that's 265-9990, or visit us on the web at ppsriverregion.com. And remember, when you want to know, call a pro.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
The River Region's News Talk Station. News Talk 93.1. WACV. News Talk 93.1.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. Go right to the phones. Talk to Michael Cohen from Cohen's Electronics and Appliances. Hey, Michael, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are y'all?
Oh, we're doing all right. What's the score there today, Cohen?
21-7. We had a nice lady come in today. She wanted to buy a new remote for her TV. She had some issues with it. It was a 2019. Something had happened with the Wi-Fi in her house, and she needed to do some resetting. Thought her remote was bad, but she came in and realized her remote wasn't. And one of my guys sold her a new 42-inch OLED TV, and Michael Jackson was between calls, and he swooped in, has already got her installed, and she's off to the races.
I love it.
So, yeah.
Well, and I'd imagine there are a lot of folks who are like, man, Auburn and Alabama might end up in the game against one another.
Yep.
I need
That's
a new
right.
TV to watch that.
Well, it looks like they're going to have to change the name from the NCAA to SEC or something.
That's it. I think we're 7 of the Sweet 16 at least.
It's pretty good.
That's right. That's right.
That's very
Hopefully we'll stay that way.
Yeah, me too. Hey, Michael, I got a question for you about grills. You've got some grill accessories out there, correct?
Yes, sir.
Is it just for Traeger?
What accessories are you looking for?
Well, my son has got one of those pellet stoves or pellet grills. And
Okay.
do you guys sell the pellets?
We have some pellets.
You do have
Yes.
some? Okay. All right. Yeah, because I didn't know anywhere in town to get them, to be honest. And I was going to be a good guy and donate some pellets to the barbecue, but I wasn't sure where to get them.
Oh, look at you.
I know. You don't want
So
to come empty-handed.
charitable.
Yeah.
I'm still stuck on. I need to ask you about grills.
Well, I mean, I don't know. You've been in there. You've seen his great grill collection.
Oh, it's awesome.
Right.
Yeah, it's just the way you said it.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. I see. Mocking me.
Yes, I am. But it was a good question.
You know, with Eddie, I didn't know if it was teeth or
folks, if you're looking for great appliance, great electronics, and yes, and grills, they have it there at Cohen's. You can always shop from home at thinkcohens.com, but I really encourage you to stop by the Boulevard here in Montgomery. That's 2515 Eastern Boulevard in Montgomery. They're open 9 to 6 Monday through Friday, 9 to 4 on Saturdays. And be sure to find Michael and say, hey, I heard you on the radio with Joey and Eddie.
That's right. Y'all come see us. Let us ask you some questions. You ask us some questions. Let us help you make the right choice for whatever your needs are.
Beautiful. Well, I appreciate it, Michael.
Thank you, Michael.
All right. Y'all take care.
See you, buddy.
272-9228. Let's go to line 1 and talk to Michael. Hey, Michael.
Hey, man. How y'all doing?
Pretty good. How are you doing?
Pretty good. I'm going to throw a little historical perspective in here on this Department of Education trash. Okay?
Okay.
Up until 1979, there was the Department of Health, Education, and Welfare. Okay?
Okay.
And, you know, like I grew up, I just turned 67 the other day. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I came up in those days when, you know, there were school lunches, everybody paid for them, everything else.
Right.
Now, in 1979, that nuclear physicist named Jimmy Carter decided that we're going to split this up and make Health and Human Services and the Department of Education. So for 40 years, almost 50 years, you know, we've been going along with this, you know, this Department of Education thing, and you know, we got along fine with it, you know, before that. You know, there's nothing, you know, somebody brought up a long time ago, there's nothing in the Constitution that makes education a constitutional right. All right. And
at the federal level, sure.
50s,
Yeah.
During the late 50s and early 60s, you know, with all school integration, desegregation, all that, that's what a lot of people stood on. You know, that there's no constitutional guarantee or right to a public education. So, you know, what I'm saying is all these years that, you know, we went by and, you know, somehow or other the teachers got paid, the students got fed, we got free books, okay? You know, we didn't pay for school books way back when.
Right.
It was given to us and we turned them in at the end of the year.
Yep.
Right.
It was that simple. So, you know, I don't understand, you know, like right now, you know where food stamps come from? Food stamps come from the U.S. Department of Agriculture.
Right. USDA.
Okay. Doesn't it seem to me that if you got, you know, if you're doing something with health and human services and the Department of Education, how does, you know, school lunches and whatnot get tied back into HHS? How is it that food stamps are in the Department of Agriculture? You know, so what I'm seeing here when they talk about money being transferred to this cabinet department or another, that, you know, the money's not necessarily going away, but it's going to be better spent.
Right.
You're not going to have all the bureaucracy, because you see, just like with Doge, I don't know how many people Doge has, okay, but you know, they're small, they're efficient. So, you know, you don't need a 42-story building for the Department of Education when you can farm those. I found out the other day that student loans are going over to the SBA.
Yes.
Okay, because they used to be in the Department of Education. Then they were going to put them under something else, and now they're going over to the Small Business Administration. So I think it's streamlining, which I'm all in favor of, you know, and I think that, you know, when all the dust settles, everybody's going to be happy.
Here.
You know, you're not going to make everybody, you know, happy all the time. But I see where everything's going to smooth out just fine.
Oh, and I predicted this, that people are going to scream and bellyache as you're knocking things down with your wrecking ball. But after the fact, they're not going to rebuild what you knocked down. In fact, they might even thank you, to your point.
Yep.
You're absolutely right. So I appreciate you guys.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, Michael.
You too. Good
Have
call.
a good one.
Yeah, and really, it's a matter of, we want to get from point A to point B. Well, what do you mean? Why do we want our kids educated? So they can, you know, do math and basic language proficiencies and maybe learn a little history and a little perspective on where they're going to school, the state they live in, the country they live in, yada, yada, yada. Some just basic civics too. But the whole idea is we want to get from point A. We have a young kid who doesn't know anything. We want them to know some stuff. That would be point B.
Right.
Enough to where they can be successful adults and stand themselves up. The argument we're making is the car you're using to get from point A to point B is a gas guzzler that's broken down half the time. And now we're like, hey, how about we get a more efficient car that actually gets you from point A to point B more reliably, because we never seem to get to point B in that old thing that's falling apart. And then all the mechanics start screaming, but we have good employment fixing that thing constantly, even though we don't actually fully fix it. Like, you get all this spinoff where folks get used to a shoddy status quo, but we can get from point A to point B in a lot better ways than we have been doing it. And that's what we need to do, because we're running out of time. We're running out of money, which is an insane thing to say about the wealthiest society ever to exist on the face of the earth.
But I think that's just
that we know of.
What you said there, we're running out of money. I don't think your average American ever can dream of the day that America doesn't have money.
I don't think the average American understands the house of cards.
Yeah. Look at Greece.
In many ways.
Remember what Greece went through? I don't know how many years ago it was now, probably early 90s. They just pretty much had to shut everything off because they reached their limit of borrowing. They had no money. Everybody and their brother was retired. It doesn't work that way.
This part of the program, in fact, the entire hour, brought to you by Alabama Home Mortgage. And, rates are coming down a little more.
Yes, they have, man. They've been coming down steadily for the past 4 to 5 weeks, Joey.
So, folks, you need to be on top of it. Maybe, right now isn't like the exact time to pull the trigger. But you at least want to load the gun.
Exactly.
You at least want to get a little proficient how to shoot that thing. Why not get some training in? Here's what I mean, not a literal gun. Get pre-approved.
Exactly.
Get the conversation started with Kim and Madeline there at Alabama Home Mortgage. So when the time is right to pull the trigger, you're ready to go. You're already pre-approved. Or maybe you talk to them about a great refinance deal to get credit card debt off your back, or any sort of debt, any sort of restructuring. Maybe you don't really have debt, but you're hitting retirement age and you want to reduce your overhead using equity you built up in your home.
Right.
And especially if you're a veteran, they can help you. Again, get the process started to when the time is right for you. The turnaround time is incredible there at Alabama Home Mortgage, and they're going to get you the best possible deal. So again, if you're looking to buy a home or if you're looking to refinance at home, call up Kim Williams and Madeline Cannon at 567-4223. That's 567-4223. Or you can always apply online at myalabamahomemortgage.com. There is a difference in mortgage companies like Kim and Madeline. Prove that to you today. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender. Final hour coming up.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusada, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. The Trump administration asking the Supreme Court to halt a lower court ruling that orders the rehiring of thousands of federal workers. A California-based judge found the firings didn't follow federal law, and he ordered reinstatement offers be sent as a lawsuit plays out. But in an emergency appeal to the Supreme Court, the administration argued the ruling should be put on hold because the judge did not have the authority to reinstate the workers. South Korea's constitutional court overturned the impeachment of Prime Minister Han Duck-soo, reinstating the nation's number 2 official as acting leader, while not yet ruling on the separate impeachment of President Yoon Suk-yeol over his imposition of martial law. That was late last year. The Dow up 406 points, the Nasdaq adding 351. This is SRN News.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no coverage at all. These days, you've got to do whatever you can to save money. One of the biggest expenses can be your car, especially when unexpected repair bills hit. Not anymore. CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan. You could save thousands with one call to CarShield. Call 800-840-1546 now to see if you qualify. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Repairs for your engine, transmission, and more can become a thing of the past. Plus, call 800-840-1546 right now and get free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options. Call 800-840-1546 today and get your car protected before your next repair bill hits. Just call 800-840-1546 to see if your car qualifies. 800-840-1546. That's 800-840-1546. Again, 800-840-1546. Coverage varies by plans. View contracts and exclusions at carshield.com.
Thomas Weather is brought to you by MPM Feed and Seed. It's time to get those gardens ready. From seeds to plants to fertilizer, MPM has what you need. Shop MPM Feed and Seed in Prattville, 1313 Highway 31 North. Open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, Saturdays, 8 to 1.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. The better rain chances are mainly early in the day today, but I think even this afternoon, I can't rule out a leftover shower or two. Today's high around 75, partly cloudy, 48 the low tonight, and the rest of the week looks beautiful. Sunshine will dominate Tuesday and Wednesday with a high in the low 80s tomorrow and near 80 on Wednesday, and even Thursday and Friday are looking great with abundant sunshine. Upper 70s to low 80s. The next chance of rain arriving late Saturday night into Sunday, it looks like right now. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
You can make your ASC loan payments from your phone anytime, anywhere. It's quick and easy. www.yourasccu.com. Federally insured by NCUA.
ASC Credit Union. Your life, your cause, your ASC.
1819 News.
A vote on a workers' compensation bill for teachers has now been delayed within the Alabama House Ways and Means Education Committee. The delay on voting is a result of several amendments being added to the bill and Republican lawmakers saying they want to review those changes. State Representative David Faulkner said he needs more time to discuss why teachers need a specific plan for workers' compensation that is separate from what is offered to state employees. This whole compensation package would apply to teachers, community college employees, and bus drivers, and would pay for injuries out of a different fund than the ones used for state employees for worker compensation. The Alabama Education Association has endorsed this bill and is pushing hard for SB 1 to be passed within the Alabama House. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
Are you enjoying 1819 News? If so, consider joining 1819 News as a member. As a nonprofit news organization, we depend on the support of Alabamians like you. Memberships start out as little as $5 a month, and you'll get access to exclusive content only offered to our members. You'll be supporting independent journalism done by people who cherish Alabama values. Become a member today by visiting 1819news.com and clicking Become a Member. That's 1819news.com and click Become a Member today.
A Houston County judge has refused to lower the bond amount for Stephen Miller, which would have enabled his release before trial. Miller is currently accused of strangling and murdering his wife, 57-year-old Gloria Miller, earlier this year. The Millers' 2 adult children were in court providing testimony as to why the judge should lower the bond amount, saying that their mother was aggressive and abusive against their father, and that the relationship was turbulent and dysfunctional. Prosecutors' argument over the violence of Gloria Miller's death prevailed with the judge. Stephen Miller's bond is currently set at $1.5 million. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number 1 in the number 2 business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Hi, this is Bo Goodson from the Goodson Group with your Real Estate Minute. You're thinking of selling your home. Here are several ways to improve the look of your home and possibly the value. Number 1, improve the curb appeal with trim bushes and cut the grass. Repaint the exterior where needed, and if needed, paint your front door. Number 2, declutter the inside of the home by removing items that are not needed off countertops, dressers, and the den. 3, paint walls and trim where needed with a fresh coat of paint in a light color that will show off your home. 4, clean your oven and microwave inside and out, make it shine. Number 5, professionally clean carpets or shine the wood floors with a polish or bona. 6, clean out all closets or unwanted clothes, shoes, belts, hats, and donate them to a local charity. Finish any leftover repairs now, doorknobs, light bulbs, and closet doors. For a complete list and an in-person evaluation and consultation, call Bo Goodson from the Goodson Group, 221-2883 or 551-0225.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's News and Views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Clark.
Welcome back. Final hour here on a stormy Monday, but Tuesday's just as bad.
Yeah?
Or is it stormy Tuesday? No, it's just overcast right now. It was a little rainy this morning.
Well, I left Roxy at home. I was kind of worried when you said stormy.
No, it's not
crap.
stormy. It's more just a little rainy.
Yeah, that's all right.
Let's go to Poison Ivy.
Poison Ivy.
Poison Ivy.
So at it. Well, my stiffing cousin said to come on here to go on the Joey Clark show and tell those legislators that followed her Supreme Executive, what she told them the legislature to do that she wanted them to do. She made a promise to help them out and do the second part of the program after spring break, if they could implement the other program. Are you ready for the acronym for how she told them they go about trying to get the gambling and all the other stuff that helps them out? Y'all ready for it?
Yeah.
Fragrant legislation empowering, encouraging cronyism enterprises. Please. Y'all have a great
Thank you, Poison Ivy. Police.
Yeah.
It's a good acronym.
That's a good one.
Hey, do you want to do a op-ed double feature?
Sure.
First somebody else's, then mine for this week? First, we start off with, it's trending right now at 1819news.com. Been trending since the weekend. Our good friend Troy Carrico.
Oh, good deal.
He says, time to tear off Alabama's Republican mask.
Okay.
Already like the sound of that.
Me too.
Troy writes, perception is 9/10 of reality, and right now, Alabama's state Republican Party leadership is looking more like a pack of yellow dog Democrats wearing elephant costumes than the principled conservatives they claim to be. That's right, let's break out the shock collars and discipline these bad doggies. As a former infantry soldier, Troy Carrico writes, and intelligence officer who served this nation for over 22 years, I've seen enough skullduggery and subterfuge to spot an ambush from a mile away. The current crop of so-called Republicans running Montgomery ain't fooling anyone who's paying attention. It's time we call them what they are, relics of a bygone Democratic machine, veritable museum pieces, and rip that GOP label off their chests and backs. Look at the evidence. Governor Kay Ivey, a.k.a. Pavlov, the grand dame of Alabama politics, pushes policies that make a yellow dog wag its tail and salivate. Or apparent vindictive sidelining, of Admiral Kent Davis, a decorated veteran who dared challenge the status quo, smacks of the old Democratic playbook: control the narrative, punish dissent, and keep the cronies close. Her gas tax hike? Hardly the limited government gospel Republicans preach. And don't get me started on her COVID-era finger-wagging at the unvaccinated. Looking at you, Eddie. Sounds more like a Dixiecrat scolding the peasants than a liberty-minded leader. Troy Carrico goes on, saying these aren't isolated missteps. They're symptoms of a deeper rot. Then there's the Alabama legislature. These folks cut veterans' dependent scholarships while standing by idly in a collective lack of advocacy on behalf of the Alabama veterans, watching the federal legislative body of Alabama fail to rally behind the PACT Act, legislation that helped warriors scarred by Agent Orange and burn pits. That's not Republican valor. That's the kind of neglect you'd expect from the yellow dog crowd who ruled this state for a century, more interested in power than principle. They're politicizing the State Board of Veterans Affairs, turning merit-based posts into patronage plums. It's a move straight out of the old Democratic machine. Reward loyalty, competence. History backs this up, writes Troy Carrico. Alabama was a Democratic stronghold until the late 20th century, run by yellow dogs who'd vote for a mutt if it wore the party collar. When the National Democrats lurched left, many of those same players didn't change their stripes. They just swapped jerseys. The Republican label became their new shield, but their instincts, pure yellow dog, clinging to power, doling out favors, and shunning accountability. That's not the GOP of Reagan or even Trump. That's the ghost of George Wallace in a red tie. Veterans like me see through this, writes Troy Carrico. We swore an oath to defend this nation and state from all enemies, foreign and domestic, and that duty doesn't expire. We're not impressed by photo ops or hollow proclamation from the state capitol's marble halls. We know a storm's brewing, and it's not just hot air. Alabama's military and economic future. Think Space Command. My brother-in-arms, Colonel Doug Cinco de Mayo, and his gallant 187th F-35 Maxwell Air Force Base. Hinges on leaders whose honor service, hinges on leaders who honor service, not sabotage it. These yellow dogs in GOP clothing are poking the bear of the veteran community, and they'll feel the claws soon enough. It's time to think the unthinkable. These pretenders need to go. Not because they're Democrats at heart, though they act like it, but because they're betraying the Republican promise. Alabama deserves leaders who bleed red, white, and blue, not yellow. Troy Carrico finishes with this. The 2026 governor's race could be our shot, maybe with a dark horse who has proven he will fight for what's right. We've got a proud state to defend, and it starts by unmasking these frauds. Let's peel off that Republican veneer and send these yellow dogs back to the kennel where they belong. Alabama Veteran Nation is watching, writes Troy Carrico, and we're ready to act. There's a storm coming, Alabama. RLTW. Join us. Again, that's Troy Carrico. Time to tear off Alabama's Republican mask. But I did promise a double feature, right? Yeah, well, this will be my op-ed. I think it's been fully accepted now.
Okay.
And it's essentially just a response to those who question MAGA with, well, when was America ever so great?
Okay, good.
Greatness, once fallen out with fortune, must fall out with men, too. Ever since Donald Trump unveiled his 2016 campaign slogan, Make America Great Again, American liberals have fixated on that final word, again. Again? The liberal wonders to himself, suspecting the worst reactionary motivations lurking beneath the plain meaning of the phrase. When was America ever great for women and minorities? The liberal bays at the moon, pretending he is a dog able to hear MAGA dog whistles. What a racist and privileged slogan. Oh! If you think I exaggerate, I do, but not by much. For instance, here's a recently unearthed interview with Hollywood actor Bryan Cranston. He said, quoting Bryan Cranston in an interview with Chris Wallace, ugh. Quote, when I see the Make America Great Again, my comment is, do you accept that that could possibly be construed as a racist remark? Cranston mused self-assuredly. So just ask yourself, from an African-American experience, when was it ever great in America for the African-American? When was it great? So if you're making it great again, it's not including them. To answer Cranston's initial question, how leading as it is, yes, the MAGA slogan, just like anything else in today's world, can be construed as racist. But presuming, construing, twisting, and torturing something to be racist does not necessarily make it so. Just as viewing history through the fashionable moral squint of the present day does not strip the flawed men of history of their greatness. Though I believe Lord Acton was correct to suggest great men are almost always bad men, I also believe it's absurd to then say that badness necessarily robs men of their greatness. Such a position makes the perfect the enemy of the good, or in this case, the great. If great men, past, present, and future, are stripped of their honors because of their sins, judged for failing to meet the universal moral standards of always shifting present opinion, then no mere man will ever wear the mantle of greatness again. Men often mistake greatness with fortune and misfortune, with good and evil, as though it is some kind of simple binary switch turned on when things are good and going well, turned off when things are bad and going poorly. But greatness isn't merely a flat function of fate and fortune, nor is it necessarily a moral question alone. Greatness is more a fire that men discover through adversity despite their faults. A fickle flame men attempt to spark within, to brave the way through the pain, ignorance, injustice, suffering, and sin they forever find on this side of paradise. This gift of fire, a longing for greatness of soul, may bring warmth and light, but it can also blind and burn, proving difficult to neatly define, confine, and contain. Greatness may be to the benefit of all, or the exclusive property of a select few. Greatness may be found in the saints' alignment with the divine, or ignited by sinners' skilled and clever displays of excellence and virtue. Greatness may be discovered in the triumphs of war, or revealed by those who fight honorably, only to honorably lose. As for making America great again, the attempt at greatness may fall through. We'll see. But to say America was never great because of injustice and misfortune is the stuff of moralizing fools. Black Americans, in particular, have achieved greatness time and time again for themselves and the American nation, even when their nation did not wish to honor their greatness. In my book, for instance, the Harlem Hellfighters achieved greatness in World War I, even if most of America wasn't ready to receive them as heroes, let alone equal citizens. Yet also in my book, many classic American heroes achieved greatness despite their sins. George Washington achieved greatness fighting for the winning side, as did Robert E. Lee in his fight for the losing side. A list of Americans who achieved greatness, whether or not they were on the quote-unquote right side of history, hewed to today's moral line, or had a falling out with fortune over time, could be nearly endless. A nearly endless list. So many stories and personalities that defy categories. American freedom, most fundamentally the freedom of conscience, has unleashed man's attempts at greatness a millionfold, manifested in countless complex ways, birthing the most dynamic, prosperous, preposterous, and spectacular society known in all recorded human history. But beyond the greatness of Americans, what makes a nation great? When does Trump himself think America was so great? Fairly consistently, Trump alludes to two periods of American history: the industrial expansion of the late 19th into early 20th century, as well as the early years following World War II. Both eras marked significant post-war economic expansion and growth, while bringing about remarkable technological innovations that fundamentally improved the quality of life for all Americans, beyond dollars and cents. Without such technological and economic advancement, many progressive social and cultural achievements may never have followed. Trump's promise to usher in a similar wave of prosperity and innovation is no easy task. Greatness is never a sure thing. Indeed, if Trump's greatness may or may not fall out with fortune. But if he does manage to reignite a booming economy, as well as a resurgence of innovation and patriotism by July 4th, 2026, America's 250th birthday, then I suspect he will have no falling out with the American people. We'll see. A lot hinges on this. But I just find it astounding that the nation that essentially discovers how to create modern life, no, never great because you do awful things. And it's like, seriously, maybe the only person that meets that standard is Jesus Christ himself.
Right.
Every other great person always falls short of the ideal. And so and it's crazy. You could say Julius Caesar was a great man of history, right?
Okay.
But he was.
For argument, sure.
You don't think he was?
I knew him. I didn't know him personally, so I can't really speak for
Okay,
that.
you're one of these presentists. Like, this is why I wrote this piece, to be against you.
I didn't know him personally, but whatever.
Yeah, no. Okay. But think of the same time period. It could be Julius Caesar, who's the great man.
Yeah.
Or it could be St. Paul. Very different types of people.
Right.
It could be St. Thomas More, or it could be Achilles. You telling me Achilles ain't great? Like a hero, a mythical hero of the Greek imagination ain't great? When you just look at America, though, like think about all the greats in different lines of work, different fields, different accomplishments.
What kills me is when they say America's never been good for black people or women or people of color. I can honestly say that's BS because I've been around black people, brown people, people of color, and women when they have a great moment being in America. So I don't understand, is their life not perfect every day? Well, no one's is. So and if America is not the greatest place in the world for you, then by all means, you have the freedom to leave. I can't think of the guy's name that goes, Charlie Kirk. I think he goes to those campuses and always kind of irritates students. He had a student there the other day, and the student said flat out, "I hate America." So the guy said, "Okay." And he was as American as you and I. He said, "Okay, if you hate America, what are you still doing here? Why don't you leave? You have the freedom to leave."
Right.
He's like, well, right now I'm on this kind of program and on this kind of program. Like, well, you might hate America, but right now America is keeping you alive. But leave if you hate it so bad, or find what you don't like about it and try to change it. But most of the time it's you. It's honestly you. It's not the system. It's not everybody else. It's you.
And if you're going to say that things can't be great unless perfect justice is established amongst men, then
it'll never be great.
Nothing will ever be great.
Right. You're holding up an impossible standard.
Right. And God bless this country for all its faults, which are many. Think about this, how unpredictable the story is. As we come up on the 250th birthday, think of the 250 years, how improbable it is, how absurd it is.
I agree.
How nobody, even the founding generation, could have predicted what would come.
Well, with me, I still think America's the greatest country on earth, and I have reason to believe that because I have traveled. Right. Not the entire world, but out of all the places I've ever been, this is by far the greatest place. Anywhere else you can go in the world, you don't have the opportunities you'll have just by standing on the hallowed ground that is America. And I'll argue till my death about anyone that wants to argue about that.
Well, and you can undress, tear down, throw mud on any grave. You seriously can. It's a dangerous impulse. Might be useful in some instances. Somebody is claiming they're much greater than they are.
Okay.
Bring them down a little bit. Bring them down a peg. But when you look back in hindsight, there are a lot of, that's what makes greatness so amazing. It's why it is a fire that's hard to contain or define. It's that these are ordinary men at the end of the day. Just ordinary men. And yet they manage to accomplish extraordinary things. And I'm in the camp of, the line Brad Pitt delivered as Achilles in that movie Troy, was like, that's why no one will remember your name.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think you don't have to be remembered in order to have done great things, though.
Correct.
Your nation doesn't even have to accept you for you to have done great things. You don't necessarily have to accept the nation in order to do great things. There can be stark disagreements. People might fall out of favor and fortune with certain folks.
Sure.
But at the end of the day, it's not just the folks that, are the big history books that are in the history books. I think there are a lot of great things that are done quietly.
Those are some of the best.
Never get accolades.
Yep.
Never hailed as the reason the big change came. And I think folks also write off these, the late 1800s into the early 1900s, the 19th and the 20th century. Oh, that was just the Gilded Age with all the robber barons, right? It's like, no, that was the greatest growth in human history, in economic growth. And, well, what good is that? It's just people making money. No, it's fun. Electricity. How to harness electricity. Yeah. It's a remarkable achievement. And so many other technological things you could point to that I've argued with you about when, the labor unions take credit for ending things like child labor and all this stuff. No, child labor was already declining long before the unions got there and made a political issue of it. Why? Because people were rich enough to not have them work the farms or work the factories. In fact, they could just let them be kids.
Here in the U.S.
Here in the U.S., I agree. No, you see that often. There a lot of these social movements, some good, some bad in my book, but a lot of these social movements would not be possible without the underlying economic growth and technological advance. People like to think, we just got smart at the early 20th century.
Not really.
And we did all these things to take care of people. It's like, no, I think that impulse has always been there to take care of people. But what changed is the underlying infrastructure. What changed is the people creating the future. And then also just from a storyteller's point of view, and I'm not going to tell it well because I'm just off the top of the dome right now. Like you could dismiss Teddy Roosevelt for his jingoistic and racist views and all these other things.
Sure, if you want to go down that path.
And I'm not focusing on the Teddy Roosevelt gets shot, then finishes his speech, which is
amazing.
Yeah. But you know that one time where John Muir, I think it's Yellowstone or Yosemite, they get lost at President Roosevelt, Teddy Roosevelt just leaves his party and goes into the woods with Muir by himself just so Muir can show him like the majesty of this place, why it should be protected. I'm like, is that not? America has a lot of problems and sins, a lot of injustice has been done, but when you hear stories like that, you're like, is that not greatness? This not an incredible thing? Like you can find instance after instance, and yet there are some that no matter how great somebody is for a moment, for a year, for 10 years, there's always going to be somebody who goes, I can be great by pulling the great guy down. Why we found more incendiary devices at Tesla. At a Tesla dealership in Austin, Texas. That broke this morning.
Yeah,
It's that mentality of, well, I'll be great by tearing down good things or being good. And it's an ugly look. And I'll bring about liberation by tearing down things that I could never build. It's a foolish, foolish way to go. We'll see. I've heard that for years, haven't you? Like, well, when was America ever great?
Yeah, but I'd never been able to answer that without getting ticked off.
Yeah.
I mean, and you know, and when people ask me that, they do it to trigger me. I mean, there's no doubt. But if America's so bad, and most of these people have credit cards, you can get on a plane and get the hell out of here. It must not be that bad. I can suggest a few places you go. You're going to come running back right here.
Right. And that's the thing. And I didn't go into this angle in the essay. I was listening to that, as I mentioned earlier, Steve Witkoff talking to Tucker Carlson.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know all the details, but apparently Witkoff lost his son.
Oh.
And I was watching the interview with my grandfather. And he said the worst thing that could happen to anybody in life, and I experienced firsthand, is a parent who loses a child. And I saw my grandfather nodding, thinking of my mother.
Mm-hmm.
And yet Steve Witkoff had this to say, despite that profound tragedy, I have had a great life. And when you can understand that perspective, that despite injustice, despite tragedy, despite awful things that always occur, you can still find greatness. You won't be Jesus. None of us are.
None of us are.
But we should at least allow ourselves that despite our flaws, our sins, our wickedness, we can still do great things. 272-9228. That's 334-272-9228. And if somebody can internalize that on a personal level, I think we can manage to think about this country with the same grace. Hopefully. Again, 272-9228. And after all that reading,
y'all,
I'm hungry.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm thinking about that barbecue at Smokehouse Pit Barbecue in Millbrook.
Joey.
Man, it's so good.
Yeah, it is.
And I'm thinking about, like, there might be a day where we go for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Well, there might be a day like tomorrow when I'll probably stop by and get me something because I'll be over there babysitting the kids. And yeah, Joey. And even though they live probably about 8 miles from the place, I swear I can smell it.
Oh, it's
I
so
can
good.
smell that when that grill gets going at like 9, 10 in the morning, I can start smelling it.
Get you a big, large pulled pork sandwich.
I think this is what I'm going to do this time. I'm going to get that pulled pork sandwich, but I saw a TikTok video. I'm going to try this. I'm going to get an order of mac cheese. I'm going to put it on top of my pulled pork sandwich. So it's like adding cheese to your pork sandwich. It looked really good when I saw the TikToks this weekend. It looked like something a fat boy like me would really love. So that's probably going to be my plan.
Man, that sounds good.
Yeah.
Or you could go healthier, get a smoked barbecue turkey breast.
Oh, yeah, you could do that. If you're
Still
looking
tasty,
for the healthy options,
a little
you bet.
healthier.
Yeah.
But it's still tasty.
Yep.
Or you can get like loaded fries with barbecue, and you could have brisket, or you make them buffalo loaded fries. Or you get a loaded baked potato with all that barbecue on top of it, or a mac and cheese bowl. Oh. Or maybe you want to stop by early and get some breakfast. It's a true down-home Southern breakfast in the best way possible.
Amen.
Customized everything, biscuits, breakfast sandwiches, breakfast bowls. You can just get biscuits and gravy, though.
Ooh.
Be like, give me all the bacon. Give me the cheese grits. I want a double helping of cheese grits. Joey told me to get that. You're going to love it. Y'all check out Smokehouse Pit Barbecue today. Again, that's breakfast, lunch, dinner. You can dine in, take out, and be sure to tell them when you stop by there at Main Street in Millbrook that Joey and Eddie, those fellas on the radio, made you hungry. We'll be right back.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
What's your biggest investment? More than likely, it's your home. So treat it that way when you hire a painting contractor. At PBS Painting, there are no gimmicks, no $99 specials. Just quality painting and someone who treats your home with the same respect that you do. At PBS Painting, we have been painting for years and look forward to many more years to come. With PBS Painting, the job gets prepped properly, whether it's cleaning, scraping, or priming. We always use quality products, which is a must for a quality paint job. So if you're looking for a painter that doesn't need upfront money and is on the job at all times, then please give me a call. Scott Bowers and PBS Painting, 294-5122. That's PBS Painting, 294-5122. Look at some of our work on Facebook at PBS Painting Montgomery.
Are you feeling tired, slower, or achier than you used to? You might think it's just age, but it could be low testosterone. At Montgomery Men's Health, they've helped thousands of men who didn't realize their symptoms were caused by declining testosterone levels, a problem that's becoming the new norm in American men. Montgomery Men's Health refuses to accept this new normal. They're committed to restoring testosterone to healthy levels so you can feel like yourself again, whether at home, in the gym, at work, or in the bedroom. For years, their urologists and providers have delivered testosterone therapy tailored to each man's needs. No one-size-fits-all solutions, just real science-backed results delivered by discreet local experts. Imagine more energy, sharper focus, and newfound confidence. A same-day testosterone check and consultation is just $99. Call 334-440-3663 or visit MontgomeryMen'sHealth.com today. Your prime years aren't over. They're just waiting to be unleashed. Montgomery Men's Health, making it happen.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
The 21st Annual Autism Crawfish Boil, benefiting Easter Seals of Central Alabama, is April 5th at Riverwalk Stadium. Proceeds from this fun family event benefit autism programs at Easter Seals of Central Alabama. Enjoy all-you-can-eat crawfish, live music, and even a baseball game. The Autism Crawfish Boil, April 5th at Riverwalk Stadium. Stay and eat or grab them and go. Scan or visit mudbugball.com to purchase tickets and get info on curbside pickup.
Adams Drugs has been committed to the health care of the people of the River region for over 62 years. We value the trust each customer has in our pharmacists, techs, and entire staff. If you have not experienced the difference of Adams Drugs and are not satisfied with the customer service that you get in the big box stores, we invite you to visit any of our locations and see how committed we are to your satisfaction. Adams Drugs offers a variety of services that you will not find in all pharmacies in the River region. Personalized compounding, area-wide delivery, wellness screenings, immunizations, medication consultations, and specialized packaging, just to name a few. Visit us at our website, adamsdrugs.net, and find the location nearest you. Adams Drugs has 12 convenient locations to serve you. Your satisfaction is our number one goal. Adams Drugs is your local Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, taking the time to listen and care.
Hi, I'm Allison Chandley, Account Executive with Blue Water Broadcasting. Why should you advertise with us? Did you know that more Americans listen to the radio than use Facebook each week? Did you know that 77% of listeners would try a brand or product endorsed by their favorite radio personality? Contact me, Allison Chandley, by going to bluewaterbroadcasting.com to find out more. Blue Water Broadcasting, local folks helping local business.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network is brought to you by Earnest Financial.
If you're tired of losing your money in the stock market, call David Earnest, 334-279-7431. Earnest Financial, LLC.
Rich Thomas weather.
Well, hi, everybody. The forecast for the week ahead is simply spectacular. Tonight, mostly clear skies. The overnight low temperature drops to about 49. Tomorrow is just about perfect with a high temperature up to about 82. Abundant sunshine Tuesday and Wednesday. Wednesday will be in the low 80s again, upper 70s on Thursday. Even Friday and Saturday looking great. Highs around 83 both days with plenty of sun. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Budget Floors and More is your low price leader for everything you need for flooring and DIY flooring installation supplies. For the best prices on luxury vinyl plank, carpet, ceramic tile, flooring installation supplies, and more, shop Budget Floors and More. Hunter Lane across from Del Rey to Publix.
Live local talk. The River Region's only 24-hour News Talk FM station. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Welcome back. Well, we've got a clip from today's cabinet meeting.
Yeah.
Where Trump gives a shout out to Elon, who, seems to be going through it quite a bit with all this being thrown at him. Let's listen into the president.
These are phenomenal people. We're lucky to have them. I have to tell you, I want to thank you all. And Elon, I want to thank you. I know you've been through a lot with this horrible situation that happens.
Saving America.
Very unfair. What he is a patriot. Here's a man that I can tell you, he's a friend of mine. He's become a friend of mine. He supported me in the election. That's when I got to know him. Really, I knew him a little bit from the first term, but not much. But he's a patriot more than anything else. He's never, think of it, he has never asked me for a thing. He could have. I always say, I wonder if he's ever going to ask me for something. And that's always subject to change. And if it does change, I'll let you know about it. But Elon has never asked me for a thing. I mean, I got rid of the electric car mandate. I have no idea how that affects him, but possibly not good. I don't know. But he's never asked me for a thing. And I think that's an amazing tribute. I did get activated last week when I saw what they were doing. I said, he makes an incredible product, and we're going to go out and tell people you can't do that stuff and support him. They got to support him, because if he wasn't doing this, he wouldn't have any of these difficulties. And I think it's getting less and less. Pam has done a great job with regard to all of the, I know
Attorney General Bondi
that are going on. If she finds them, which she will, she already found 4 of them. But I think they're going to suffer very grave consequences, because they're really terrorists when you think about it. They're terrorists at a high level. And I think the people that are financing them, they could very well be people I know, people that you write about. But those people are in big trouble. So they better cut it out. But Elon's a patriot. We want to thank you very much for the job you're doing. Thank you very much.
Again, that was at today's cabinet meeting. And I guess Elon was standing in the corner.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see.
Did you see, you probably didn't catch it, but the NCAA wrestling championship this weekend?
I did see that.
And there was some big old dudes going at it.
Oh, yeah, man.
Dude. I forgot.
Did you like it?
I just watched that one match, and yeah, it kind of reminded me of high school all over again. But I just... the
one guy got up and saluted the president?
That was the guy, man.
Was awesome.
He would... Just watching those two roll around, I would not want to I don't want to mess with those fellas like that. Always look for the guys with the cauliflower ears. Don't mess with those guys.
Well, and it looks like the brand new live action Snow White by Disney bombed big time. I think it's like one of their biggest bombs ever
People
for Disney.
Demanding their money back.
Really?
Yes. Walking out and demanding their money back.
Yeah. Well, and the main actress, Ziegler, whatever, her name is. She did not do herself any favors leading into
I
it.
thought she kind of doubled down on dumb right before it released.
Yeah, it went like super woke.
Yeah.
And then I also have seen reviews that it's not a well-made film. Like it looks like they had been going a certain direction. Oh crap, we can't go that
like
direction.
they fired 3 different directors in the middle of the movie.
Right.
Kind of thing? Yeah.
Well, and because Peter Dinklage spoke up, then all of a sudden, like the dwarves couldn't be
Peter?
actual dwarves or little people. We now needed CGI dwarves.
Huh?
Yeah.
Peter put all the people out of a job?
Yeah, a lot of little folks are upset.
Dude, that's not cool.
Yeah, I saw one just railing away on Piers Morgan.
Wow. We're talking about self-hate.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And it also just looks flat, like a lot of movies these days. It looks like Gal Gadot and Rachel Zegler are just standing there in front of a green screen.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't. Where's of this? Where's the fantasy of this? Like, why is this such a mess of a film? So maybe Disney will learn, but I think they have a few more things in the hopper that will probably suck.
Yeah, I'm sure they do. I think I've read that they've kind of, even though a lot of their stockholders kind of want to get away from the wokeness, they've decided they're just going to continue going that route.
Let's go to Papa B. Hey, Papa B, did you go see Snow White this weekend?
Oh, no, I missed that. I'm sorry.
Oh, you missed the opportunity.
I think I'm going to pass. I'm going to wait for the reviews, I suppose. So, I'm sure that, none of y'all and that I or anybody else that calls into this show would ever downplay the, really bad stuff of slavery and Jim Crow and segregation and all the stuff that, we've come out of over the years that this country has been in existence. But, I can't, you get the feeling that the hand is overplayed. And I think you're right about pointing things out like that, Joey. You go to stories like, let's see, it's Nancy Green. She was born a slave in 1834. And in 1890, R.T. Davis Milling Company hired Green to be the real-life spokeswoman for its newly acquired ready-mix self-rising pancake flour, Aunt Jemima. It's a success story in the heart of what supposedly was the worst of times in this country. And the story is quite inspiring and needs, stories like that need to be told more. Instead of all the belly aching and the whining, everything about the grievance industry, and it is an industry that has popped up over the years. From my point of view, for the last 70 years, the black population has been treated like the frickin' pharaohs of Egypt, waited on hand and foot, given everything that they possibly could need, in one way or another. And what has it gotten us? More belly aching, more crime, more single families, more of the just worst of humanity. On and on and on it goes. And what has it got in the black population? Nothing good. Why would we continue down that road? I don't know what the answer is exactly. My famous saying is, I want us to all try to love each other and try to get along. It's above my pay grade to try to decide what to do, but, it's pretty clear what we don't need to do, and that is more of what we've been doing, because it has not led to anything good.
And what I try to do is appeal to what I think are at the closest thing to universal values in people. Something like greatness transcends culture, religion. Like, you can think of greats and stories of greatness. It's just a basic elemental thing about being a human. And maybe not all of us achieve it, but that's always there. And I think if we appeal to those sorts of things, this is what will allow us to grow. I mean, it's just I don't like using just one half of the story to say greatness was never possible, and then use the awful aspects of history as a cudgel for politics today. I think is a misuse of the historical facts.
Well, we've just come out of Black History Month last month and all. And so, okay, that's fine, you know, but too often we lionize and, you know, place in an ivory tower, you know, these icons, and every man, woman, and child ever, you know, lives on the face of the earth or ever has lived, you know, we're just people. I mean, we got, all of our heroes have warts,
Yes.
you know, but we're, you know, this navel gazing left lurching group that we have now. I mean, they took down Aunt Jemima, for instance. You know, they threw Robert E. Lee in a furnace, and the you know applause that happened when that took place. But you know, in all honesty, he was a great man. After the Civil War, he fought tooth and nail to try to unify the race. What's wrong with that? Can't you find anything good? No, you got to try to, you know, disparage some people to make other people feel good about something. And I mean, take Martin Luther King. I like, you know, Martin Luther King. He said a lot of good things, did a lot of good things. But, you know, in the recording that the FBI had on it, yeah, not too good. I mean,
well, and this is kind of my point. You can tear anybody down.
You can, you know, I mean.
Well, and I made the point earlier, by some people's standards, maybe only Jesus Christ is the one that lives up to actual greatness. But, you know, you saw what humanity did to him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's exactly right, you know. So, you know, I mean, this whole, I mean, the warfare, really, that we're in, that this country is in, about tearing somebody down and building somebody up and putting something in somebody's face, like the BLM thing downtown, you know. It's not about anything other than, you know, the thumb in the eye, you know, the shaking of the fist, you know, and it's not good. I think I told Greg this, that, you know, look at BLM. They're a openly communist organization. They burned down stuff. They looted. They killed, actually, you know, in the riots, in the George Floyd riots. They caused over $3 billion worth of damage, and 25 people lost their lives in those riots. What's good about that? What's worthy of celebrating about that? But you still have it. I don't know. I sense a lot of pride. I sense a lot of envy. I sense a lot of hate. And none of those things are good motivators, especially if you're trying to unify and get along with people, Joey.
Yes, I agree.
How am I wrong about that?
You're not about that. Well, I appreciate the call as always, Bobby.
Thanks a lot.
272-9228. We got to hit another break here. Hopefully have Ray Bowles on the other side.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Alabama weather will never fail to surprise you. Our lawns hardly get a chance to have any downtime. And as usual, it's already time to start getting ready for spring. This year, save the hard work and aggravation and call Alabama Lawns, the River Region's leader in weed control and fertilization services. What makes Alabama Lawns the River Region's best? It's the people. They have the experience, education, and commitment to customer satisfaction. Ask your neighbors. Alabama Lawns has been the Montgomery Advertiser's Reader's Choice Award winner 13 years in a row. The Alabama Lawn staff is made up of long-term employees and agronomy graduates, and the staff at Alabama Lawns attend annual continuing education classes. It pays to have someone that knows southern grass types and how to keep them green and flourishing. Call Alabama Lawns today at 272-7171 and let them show you real value in a lawn maintenance service. Alabama Lawns, the company with black trucks and green lawns. 272-7171.
Ever have one of those days where your gut just feels blah?
Ugh, yes.
Occasional bloating or gas could be signs that your gut is out of balance, but Align Probiotic can help. Align 24/7 Digestive Support is a daily use probiotic with a unique strain to help relieve occasional digestive issues. It's the #1 doctor-recommended brand. So when you feel the signs, it's time to try Align. Align Probiotic. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
When you need a new door or window replaced, you want someone experienced who delivers expert craftsmanship every time. Davis Door and Sash. Right now, you can get a tax incentive for installing energy-efficient doors and windows. Mention this ad and get 10% off materials. Davis Door and Sash was voted best of the River Region in windows and installation in 2024. We'd love to work for you. Call 334-288-6010 or visit davisdoorandsashalabama.com. Davis Door and Sash is the perfect fit for your home.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
On FM, on your smartphone, and online, the River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Back. Let's go right to the phones and talk to Ray Bowles from Prattville Carpet. Hey, Ray, how you doing?
Well, right this minute, I'm at the vet with Apollo.
You're at the vet?
Yes, getting the 12 weeks? Yeah, the
12-week
shot.
checkup. Yeah.
12 weeks. Yeah, oh, yes. He just got 2 shots. He says he's going to be a lazy dog tonight. So, yeah, we're just in here handling puppy business.
That's good.
Yeah, that's the one thing about having dogs. You got to take them to the vet every now and then.
That is true.
And Angie won't do it. I don't let her take her to the vet because then they talk them into doing stuff they shouldn't do.
I love that name. Apollo's such a good name.
Yeah, it is.
For a Doberman, it's a great name.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great name. Yeah, but years ago, Angie came back, and I'm like, how did you spend $400 at the vet? And I'm like, no. You'll never go back to the vet again.
Whew.
So I think she did it on purpose, so she never had to go back to the vet again.
Your lesson learned.
Lesson learned.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So, but hey, listen, if you need any kind of flooring whatsoever, we got everybody at the office ready to go. Call us at 285-8117. We'll come out and give you that free measurement. Next thing you know, you got a floor down. Just that simple.
Again, that's 285-8117. And be sure to tell them, hey, I heard Ray Bowles on there talking about the pup. And that Joey and Addie were talking with him.
He's going to be a great big one. I can't wait till this dog's 2 years old.
Oh, yeah.
Love it, man.
All right, guys. Have a great day.
You too. Take care, Ray.
272-9228. Yeah, I still am on that kick where I'll get like a cat and name it like Niccolo Machiavelli, something over the top and ridiculous.
That's fine. Cats don't care about their name anyway.
I think it's a good cat name because you called Nico, Machiavelli. You could call all sorts of short pet names.
Or you just call him Kitty.
Yeah. What's up, cat?
What's up, cat?
Or, but I've always wanted like a lab or some just standard breed, popular breed, and just name them like Steve.
Or Doug.
Oh, yeah, like people names.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think that would be good. And then get a little like Chihuahua and name him Lil Pimp. So it'll be Nico Machiavelli, Steve, and Lil Pimp.
That would be a good day at the dog park. You take those 3?
I don't know why a cat's there, but
give some guys something to do.
Let's go to T-Spear. Hey, T-Spear.
I'll give you Molly.
There you go.
Actually, my mother would really not be happy with you if I gave you Molly. Next time I go visit her and Pop, she was speaking from the grave. Oh, till you didn't. And I would look at her face fight and I would say, oh, but I did. No, Molly is a 6-pound Yorkie that doesn't know how to not bark. Drives me nuts. And then I have Abigail and Duncan, and they're their own breed. They're Karens, and they're their own selves. You just deal with them. But that is not why I called. Earlier, you were talking about what all Donald Trump has done for this country and what all Elon Musk has done for this country and are doing for this country.
Mm-hmm.
Back when Donald Trump was first elected, I had a niece who informed me that I think I'll just move. I'm not going to be in a country that has such a idiot for a president. And this was his second election, and I said, what has he done that was wrong? I just don't like him.
Mm-hmm.
I said, you don't have to like him. All you have to do is recognize that he is president. Well, I think I'm just going to move. And I looked at her and I said, come on, I'll help you pack. That was the last time she mentioned that. Go back to all of these people. And the other gentleman was talking about black people. There are a lot of black people that are just as disgusted by the sorry people out there as anybody else is. In fact, they are more disgusted.
Oh, yeah.
Because it gives them a bad reputation. It gives them a bad reputation when some little thuglet down the street shoots somebody else. I don't trust any little thuglet. I don't care what color you are. But still, it gives them a bad reputation, which makes other people look at them badly. The one thing that I taught my son growing up, and I have consistently followed this, is you do not look at a book by its cover because you do not know what is in it. The Bible has one of the plainest covers as a rule that you can possibly have, but it has some of the most phenomenal information in it that you will ever get. Mein Kampf is a book that has a very brilliant cover. It has a bright red cover on it. It says, pick me up, read me, read me, read me. And it is absolutely one of the worst things that we can bring into our country.
Well, there you go.
Do not judge. Do not pick up that stone, because I assure you, all of us live in glass houses, and I ain't picking up no stone.
There you go.
Michael will come and put his feet under my table and eat my food any day of the week. He and his entire family can. I would not have trusted my brother with a French fry. You have to know your people. And sometimes your people are not blood people, but they are heart people. And we should all treat each other that way.
Well, I appreciate the call, T-Spear. I got to run.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. I appreciate it. Y'all have a wonderful day.
You too.
Bye, Eddie.
Bye, hon.
Well, pretty much out of time. Did we learn anything today?
No.
No? Yeah, it sounded like you were about to say a thing, but you didn't say anything.
No.
Mm-hmm. I stick by what I wrote and said.
I think what you wrote and what Troy wrote as well were very good.
Well,
I enjoyed it.
Hopefully, I'll see you tomorrow.
All right,
I know you got to
happens.
babysit some grandkids.
Yeah, I got some babysitting to do.
You're going to be having a better day than me, that's for certain. But hey, y'all stay tuned. Happy Hour with Greg Vidal. He's next.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.